Hello and welcome to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. I'm Morris Fabry alongside Jeremy Parks, and we are coming at you live from Alumni Field for what could be the regional championship between the Michigan Wolverines and the Pittsburgh Panthers. Today, the Wolverines playing as the away team in their own home field because of whatever mechanisms they use to decide that in the tournament. So they'll be playing out of their home dugout. We'll start by giving you their lineups, but first, we'll talk about the other team because you're probably very familiar with your Michigan Wolverines. Talk about the Pitt Panthers. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about how they got here.
Well, Pitt's rolling into this one with a record of 37-21. They had a strong performance in the ACC tournament, made it all the way to the final against Florida State until they dropped that one by a score of 6-2. But this is their first NCAA tournament appearance, so by that extension, this is their first NCAA regional final appearance as well. So nobody on this team has been here before, and inexperience could play a role in how they perform today. A little bit of jitters, especially regardless of the fact that they're playing as the home team today. It's far from home field advantage for the Pitt Panthers here, as this stadium is jammed-packed for the third game of this weekend. Yet again, all the fans coming out to Alumni Field to see this team play, and they're going to be playing under some hostile conditions despite the fact that they have taken the third base dugout. But really the key player for the Pitt Panthers so far throughout this regional tournament has been Jenna Modich. And yesterday, Modich hit that grand slam against Cal that propelled them to a 5-2 victory that sent them into today's final. And really, nobody expecting Pitt to make it this far. It was really predicted to be a Michigan-Cal final. Michigan obviously run-ruling Cal yesterday, but then the late game last night, 9 o'clock here in the dark in an empty field, Pitt took that one on the legs of Modich's grand slam, and really look for her today as their spark plug in terms of the offenses. That's going to be what gets them past these Michigan Wolverines today, with a tenacious pitcher again on the bump for the Wolverines and Haley Wagner.
Yeah, really, no matter where you turn against these Wolverines, you're going to be facing a very good pitcher. Haley Wagner in the circle for the Wolverines, but opposing her today, opposing this Michigan lineup, will be Savannah King. King has a 3.08 ERA on the year. She has a 20-8 win-loss record. She's appeared in 39 games, started 34, 16 complete games, 88 strikeouts, 85 walks, and 260 batting average against. So definitely someone to be reckoned with for Michigan, but someone they should be able to go to work against. We'll start with your Michigan lineup. It's pretty much the usual. Leading off, playing center field, will be Sierra Lawrence. Hitting second and playing second base, Sierra Romero. Romero took the all-time lead in runs batted in for the Wolverines with yesterday's home run, and also tied for the top all-time in home runs in the Michigan softball program's history. So she has a chance to move up on those lists in today's game. Hitting third, playing left field, Kelly Christner. Hitting fourth, the right fielder, Kelsey Susella. Hitting fifth, the catcher, Lauren Sweet. Hitting sixth, the third baseman, Lindsey Montemarano. Hitting seventh, the designated player, Aiden Falk. Hitting eighth, the first baseman, Tara Blanco. Hitting ninth, the shortstop, Abby Ramirez. On the circle, Haley Wagner. Jeremy, give me a player to watch for these Michigan Wolverines today.
Well, it's really hard to predict who it's going to be that comes and shows up for the Wolverines. Their depth is unrivaled as far as anything we've seen so far this season. Yesterday, I think we considered the big hero to be Lindsey Montemarano. Really sparked the second inning that got them an evening run after Megan Betza gave up a home run to the Cal Golden Bears. She drew the walk that kept a two-out rally alive that tied it up for the Wolverines, and they never looked back from that point. Really changed the focus of the game. Later on, had a key double that got her on base to start off the fourth inning for the Wolverines, and was then brought around on a home run by none other than Aiden Falk. And that really sparked I believe it was 5 runs in that inning and a 5-run outburst for the Wolverines.
It was.
And, I really couldn't say who I think it's going to be today. We've been waiting on Sierra Lawrence to do something big for a while. She had a big 2-run shot yesterday, but I'll look for her in the leadoff spot again to be a good place setter for the Wolverines and do some damage at the top for them today.
Lawrence, always a spark plug for this team. She's got power to all fields. She will be first to step into the batter's box in this one against Savannah King. It's a beautiful day here at Alumni Field. There was a chance of thunderstorms, but the threat of that seems to have faded slightly, as there are several clouds in the sky, but it is a sunny sky here in Ann Arbor, about 82 degrees at game time. It's a breezy day, the wind blowing from our backs out toward left center field. We will see if that affects any fly balls. A packed house here at Alumni Field. We're just about ready for the first pitch. Your umpires today behind home plate, Eric Mandley. Down at first base, Matt Johnson. And at third base, Laura Head. Lawrence in that righty batter's box. King steps onto the bump, gets the signal from her catcher, Catherine Duran, and delivers the first pitch right down the middle for called strike one on Lawrence.
And one of the things we saw the Wolverines doing a lot of yesterday was swinging on their early pitches. So I think maybe a couple words after the game yesterday, we'll see them hold up a bit more.
The 0-1 pitch misses low. The count now even on Lawrence. Lawrence 1 for 4 in yesterday's game. Hit everything hard, but only one of them got her on base. It got her around the bases, a home run to left field. The 1-1 pitch swung on, looped into right field. That one's going to drop down the line of base hit. Lawrence takes the turn, headed for second. The throw, not in time. She's in there with a stand-up double to start this one for the Wolverines.
Well, there we go with that spark plug table setting characteristic of Sierra Lawrence getting the leadoff double for the Wolverines. That really sets them up for success here early in the game as the most dangerous player in the country looms ready to step into the batter's box here.
That would be Sierra Romero. Hit a 2-run bomb to center field in yesterday's game. Has Lawrence sitting on second, no outs. The first pitch to her, she takes well off the plate outside, a breaking ball. And I think they're calling some sort of pitching infraction as they're giving Sierra Lawrence third base for free.
The equivalent of a balk for baseball. It is a pitching infraction on the bump there for Savannah King. That will leave the Wolverines in an even better position now with Lawrence on third and none out.
Romero, I think, getting the details on what the count is. The count 1-0. The pitch from King inside hits her on the foot. Ricochets back to the backstop. Savannah King wild out of the gates. The Wolverines have runners on first and third, still no outs in the top of the first inning.
The wind is definitely blowing here this afternoon, wiping all of our papers around our desk here. We are outdoors again at Alumni Field and enjoying this beautiful weather, but that wind, definitely look for it to potentially carry some fly balls a little bit further than expected. We saw the wind aiding yesterday in that fourth inning, and all three of those home runs just squeaking themselves over the wall, 2 to left and 1 to right.
I think Aiden Falk's home run to left that had a lot of backspin might have benefited the most. The first pitch to Kelly Christner on the outside corner for strike one. Christner also with a home run to into the first row of right center field, a towering shot, a moon ball in yesterday's game. The 0-1 pitch from King, called strike on the outer edge. She's quickly ahead of Christner in the count 0-2.
This is where King's going to have to test her mettle and see how she can handle the pressure early on. Runs are going to be hard to come by for the Pitt Panthers on the offensive side of things, so they want to limit the damage here.
The 0-2 pitch just misses the outside corner there. The infield for Pitt playing in, the two middle infielders, Michaela Taylor at short and Maggie Sevilla at second, playing on the baseline and shading inward from that. Romero on first base. The 1-2 pitch to Christner in the dirt. Romero taking off for second. She will get in without a throw, and I think that's
yet another infraction.
Another pitch infraction, the equivalent of a balk. Romero gets second, and Sierra Lawrence comes home.
Well, that's about as poor of a start as you could expect from King. And giving up the double to Lawrence was one thing, but allowing her to just scamper down to third and then scamper to home and essentially just hand them a run off of 2 quick pitching infractions.
The count 2-2 on Christner. The pitch. Christner swings and fouls it back to the screen.
Perhaps some of that is what we talked about at the start of the game here. This is Pitt's first ever NCAA tournament, their first ever regional final, and maybe some jitters early on here for King. King has really proven to be a good pitcher so far this season. Doesn't seem to really struggle in that department.
The 2-2 pitch to Christner swung on loop down the left field line. That one tailing, and it will land in foul territory just out of the reach of the left fielder, Ashley Sills.
King leaving some meaty pitches over the plate here early for the Wolverines to hit as well. Not necessarily the strategy you want to take against these torrid bats of the Wolverines lineup.
Christner has fouled off several pitches after letting the first 2 go by for strikes. She's worked the count to 2-2. Romero down at second base, always a threat to go, but maybe not stealing third right now. The 2-2 pitch to Christner misses low and away. The count now 3-2 on the sophomore left fielder.
Good work by Christner here to work the count full. Fouled a couple pitches off on herself and finding herself in a good position here.
King looks in. Winds and delivers a 3-2 pitch, swinging a foul back off of the screen on the left side behind home plate.
Already starting early for the Wolverines today. We talk about how good they are at fouling pitches off with 2 strikes on their counts, and Kelly Christner showing that she is no exception to that rule.
Looks like she's really protecting the outside edge of the plate. The 3-2 pitch misses off the plate outside for ball 4. A well-worked walk there by Kelly Christner. Still nobody out. Now runners on first and second for the right fielder, Kelsey Susala.
Well worked was right there. She was protecting that outside part of the plate. Got anything that was really a little bit too close, but that one just far enough to the outside that she held up off it and got herself a free bag.
Susala steps into that lefty batter's box. The first pitch she sees is on the outside corner for a called strike. King doesn't have a lot of velocity on her fastball. She's really got to work the corners against this Michigan offense.
And you would expect her to work the corners either way, not really working over the plate.
The 0-1 pitch swung on, belted deep into right field. That one off the cage in front of the fans. It is gone. A 3-run, a home run. The Wolverines' first 4 batters have all come around to score here. 4 runs in the top half of the first inning. Kelsey Susala, a 3-run shot.
Well, we talked about how the wind might help the Wolverines get some runs around here, but the wind didn't need to do anything there. That one just a laser line drive that was about 2 to 3 inches, maybe a fingernail just above the yellow line here in right field at Alumni Field. And my goodness, the Wolverines putting on some damage here early. And it looks as though King's already going to head back to the dugout.
Yeah, Savannah King, her day is done here. A little bit of a shock to see her exit the game so early. Not sure who's coming out for Pitt. You might imagine that it would be Kayla Harris, who has thrown a few games for the Pitt Panthers in this tournament. It is Kayla Harris heading out to the mound, I should say the rubber right now. Harris on the tournament, 2-0 in 2 appearances with a 1.05 ERA. Savannah King, well, it just hasn't been her tournament. In her 2 appearances, she's pitched 5 innings, given up 11 earned runs, and now 15 earned runs as the Wolverines are just pouring it on here in the first inning.
Well, I don't think it's too much of a surprise that the Wolverines brought out the bats. Perhaps a little bit surprising that they're doing it this early. The Wolverines not necessarily a team that scores a lot in the first, not even the second innings normally, but they saw King's pitches early and they were zoned in on them, and Kelsey Susala really proving that point with a laser blast to right field and giving them a quick 4-run lead before we even knew it.
Kelsey Susala, the long baller for the Wolverines. We haven't seen many big flies off her bat as of late, and Michigan has enough things going right for it. Opponents did not need Kelsey Susala's bat to wake up, but that one an absolute rocket out to right field. Coach Carol Hutchins having some words with the home plate ump, Eric Mandley, probably just shooting the breeze, and it is kind of windy here today. Wind blowing out toward left center, may have even played a role in knocking that ball down off the bat of Susala, but didn't quite knock it down enough to bring it back into play.
Like we said, it was just a fingernail above that the right field wall, the yellow tape on the right field wall on top there, and it landed in a little crevice between the fence that stands between the fans and the field, and by all means and every meaning of the word, just squeaked out of here.
That'll bring up the catcher, Lauren Sweet. The pitcher, Kayla Harris, done with her warm-ups. Fielders retreating to their positions. Looks like home plate ump Eric Manley looking toward the Michigan dugout. Maybe just waiting for the end of the TV timeout, as this is also being broadcast on ESPN2. ESPNU, my mistake. We thanks those of you who have still chosen to tune in to us.
We thanks you.
Yeah, sure. Harris winds the first pitch to Sweet. She squares the bunt, bunts at it, misses. It's a strike on the outside corner. The count 0-1 on Lauren Sweet.
Well-placed pitch there from Harris. Her whole job here is going to be to try and keep this deficit at just 4 runs and give her bats a chance.
The 0-1 pitch swung on line, base hit into left field, just under the glove of the diving shortstop Taylor. Sweet takes a turn, stops at first base. The barrage continues for the Wolverines. You know, we've seen them as a responsive offense. I think every game we've called it, there's been a home game, but they're not really responding to anything other than the challenge of taking home this regional championship.
Not at all, and it looks like they're still pulling out the guns early here. They're already putting the legs of Mary Sabonic on first base as a pinch runner, looking to tack onto this 4-run lead early here.
Michigan not messing around. Plenty of pizza served on this afternoon game.
I do see one fan behind home plate wearing a Jets pizza box on his head as a hat. The fans know all the traditions of this team. They follow them closely. Family or not, they travel well too.
Harris winds the first pitch to Lindsay Montemano, bunted down the first baseline. That one trickles just foul where it is picked up by the catcher, Catherine Duran.
Well, Monty placed that one pretty well, but had a little bit of English on it and spun its way down the first baseline foul, but well placed nonetheless. She does have the legs to leg it out to first base if need be.
Montemano, one of the hotter hitters in the Wolverines lineup lately, and that's saying something because this lineup has been scorching. Harris looks in, gets the sign, winds and delivers the 0-1 pitch. Just misses off the outer edge for ball one. The count even at 1-1 on Montemano. Infield and outfield shading her straight away. The American flag out in center field rippling in the breeze. Waving out toward left center. No action on Ray Fisher today. Kayla Harris gets the sign. The 1-1 pitch, bunted, popped up, bounces back into the glove of the catcher. Throw down to first in time to get Montemano by a half step. Good play there by Catherine Duran, and a great stretch by the second baseman, Maggie Sevilla, coming over to cover first.
Well, we thought that first bunt had a little bit of English on it. That one did as well, but like you said, well played by Duran to control the spin on that one and make a strong throw down to first. And Montemano's got legs, but just barely missed beating that one out.
Sabonic moved down to second. That'll bring up Aiden Falk, the designated player. Harris winds the first pitch to Falk. Misses high and off the outside edge for ball one. Falk, the lefty, hitting .336. Had what I believe was a 2-run bomb to left in yesterday's game.
She hit a home run that did actually bring Montemano around.
Harris winds the 1-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. Looked for that in the first pitch. Found it on the second. The count even at 1-1.
Hers probably the closest squeaker of the home runs yesterday, just finding its way over the wall, much like Susala's, but to opposite field.
The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a breaking ball on the outside corner. That one at the knees. Could not find it.
Good pitch there from Harris. The floor really fell out of that one and dropped low into the zone, and Falk took a cut, but got nothing.
Count 1-2 on Aiden Falk. Harris winds, delivers the 1-2 pitch. Just misses off the outside corner there. The count now 2-2. Maybe a bit too close to take, but Falk took it anyway. Good eye.
Well-placed pitch, and her catcher, Duran, pointing to her as she throws the ball back, saying that was a good pitch. I want it in the same spot again.
The 2-2 pitch from Harris. Swing and a high fly ball tailing down the left field line. Into the corner. It's down. A base hit. Bounces off the wall. Sabonic got a late jump. She's rounding third, heading for home, and she is going to slide in safely. An RBI double off the bat of Aiden Falk, and that one I think really got the benefit of the wind. It took off on the left fielder Ashley Sills. The spin caused it to tail away from her, just out of her reach, bouncing up against that 200-foot marker down the left field line.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a nice fly ball as the left fielder for the Panthers, Sills, was running over to it, but just ran out of room, and her extended glove missing it by an inch or two as it flew right past her and bounced off that 200 mark right underneath the foul pole and left.
That pitch off the outer edge of the plate. Falk doing a great job of reaching out there and just poking it out into left. The first pitch to Tara Blanco, right down the middle for a called strike one. Blanco hitting .285 on the year. She's got prodigious power. Outfield shaded deep at the corners. The center fielder, Carly Thea, not so far back. The 0-1 pitch misses low and away for ball one. 1-1 count on Blanco. The clouds starting to overshadow this game. They don't appear too ominous at the moment, but knowing Michigan weather, it could take a turn for the worse. The 1-1 pitch from Harris to Blanco misses low for ball two.
Harris really taking her time here. She's going to take a moment to collect herself back in the circle, and not exactly the strongest start she wanted coming out of relief.
Really no answers for this Pitt Panthers team so far. The 2-1 pitch, called strike at the outer edge. That one about belt high. A close pitch, found the corner. Good job by framing that one. Catherine Duran, the catcher. Boy, my grammar, my syntax was all out of sorts there. We'll let that one slide. The count 2-2 on Blanco. Harris winds and delivers, swinging a ground ball foul down the first base line, just out of the reach of the first baseman, Caitlin Manuel. Count still 2-2.
That was a good slapping cut there from Blanco. Hit it right to opposite field, just squeaked down the line and barely foul as it rolled over the first base bag, just past the glove of the first baseman, Manuel, for the Panthers.
Blanco back in the box, has that high open stance in the box. The 2-2 pitch from Harris, swinging a ground ball foul down the third base line toward what is, I guess, now the Pitt dugout, although it has been the Michigan dugout for the majority of this season.
We still have no idea why that's occurring, but something to do with the tournament layout has put Michigan in a visitor's position in their home ballpark.
Harris looks in, winds. The 2-2 pitch just misses off the inside corner. Blanco jumped out of the way of that one, but that was a close pitch. The count now full.
I think the little jump from Blanco was a good sell job to the home plate umpire, Manley.
Michigan with a 5-0 lead here. Still only one out recorded in the top of the first. Harris winds. The 3-2 pitch, swinging a pop-up foul down the right field line. That's going to find its way out of play. It actually hit the wire supporting the screen overhanging this field and bounced into the Michigan bullpen. Can't say that's going to happen very often. The count's still 3-2. Blanco's fouled off a few pitches. Harris gets her sign, winds, and delivers the 3-2 pitch, swinging a pop-up. Back of second base. Magisville will range into short right field and make the catch for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Abby Ramirez. Aiden Falk still on second base. Coach Carol Hutchins not opting to pinch run for her at this juncture in the game. Ramirez hitting .363 on the year. Been a bit quiet as of late, but very potent slap hitter who can slap it beyond this drawn-in infield and drive in a run with 2 outs. The first pitch by Harris misses high for ball 1. Sky really getting a bit dark here at Alumni Field. No cause to turn the lights on, but still definitely not as bright as when we started and the sun was beaming down. The 1-0 pitch from Harris. Breaking ball misses off the edge outside. The count now 2-0 on Ramirez.
Ramirez has been great batting ninth for the Wolverines all season. Coming into this one with a .363 average, really proving that just because you hit last in the lineup doesn't mean you're a slouch as a hitter.
The 2-0 pitch from Harris, called strike at the knees there. Count out 2-1. And yeah, kind of a similar role to the Tigers' Jose Iglesias. She, I'd say, draws a lot of comparisons from me, not only because she wears number 1 and plays shortstop, but because she can do it on all sides of the ball. The 2-1 pitch swung on and missed, a breaking ball on the outside corner.
Well, yeah, we definitely saw her do it all yesterday. That wonderful diving defensive snag at short late in the game yesterday. Really a web gem there for Ramirez, and she was playing well on the offensive side of things too yesterday.
The 2-2 pitch, called strike 3 on the outside corner. Abby Ramirez back to the dugout, down on strikes. Michigan ends the top half of the first inning, but not before they snag 5 runs, a 5-0 lead over the Pitt Panthers heading into the bottom of the first inning. Haley Wagner on the circle for the Michigan Wolverines. What should we expect out of her today, Jeremy?
Well, Wagner has really sort of played second fiddle to Megan Betza so far this season, but second fiddle is not really a good term to describe it just because the two of them have been equally as dominant. Betza's just gotten the starts for being maybe a minuscule amount better than Wagner has been. Wagner still coming in with a 1.68 ERA and Betza working with a 1.44 ERA. So really the difference between the two has been minor, but she is 21-2 in the win-loss column. Opponents only hitting .203 against her, and it's going to be hard for these Pitt Panthers to get any runners on base. She's been great so far in this NCAA regional tournament. Hasn't given up a base runner yet in 5 innings of work. Or 2 innings of work, I apologize.
Yeah, Haley Wagner, an excellent, you could call her a second fiddle to Megan Betts this season, but really she is a first fiddle in her own right. 1.68 ERA, 21-2 win-loss, and 19 walks to go with 112 strikeouts. She almost never issues free passes. Her command of the zone impeccable. The lineup she will be facing for the Pittsburgh Panthers, leading off At third base, Shelby Pickett. Hitting second and playing second base, Maggie Sevilla. Hitting third, the designated player, Jenna Modich. Hitting fourth, the shortstop, Michaela Taylor. Hitting fifth, the center fielder, Carly Thea. Hitting sixth, playing first base, Caitlin Manuel. Hitting seventh, the right fielder, Jordan Fannin. Hitting eighth, the catcher, Catherine Duran. And hitting ninth, the left fielder, Ashley Sills. After a brief pause, hiatus perhaps for TV purposes, Michigan has taken their places out in the field. This Pitt lineup, not the most impressive statistically that we've seen. Nobody hitting above 400. The last four hitters in the lineup, all below 300. Not a lot of great power numbers either. So Wagner should be able to operate the way that she wants to, the way that she has been lately. It seems like every time we see her, that 168 ERA drops. Looking to continue that trend today.
I think the big difference with Wagner as well is the fact that she doesn't work so much with the heater like Betsa does. She really takes a lot more pride in her control and her ability to paint the corners and work with her off-speed stuff as well as her heater. And really just a kind of the antithesis of Betsa, but at the same time, all the same in dominance.
Yep, Wagner comes from the left side. Betsa comes from the right. Wagner not as overpowering, still plenty of heat in that left arm. She is 7th all-time in strikeouts for the Michigan Wolverines. Number 4 all-times in wins with 96 for this softball program. Has a chance to catch Jenny Ritter at 3rd all-time with 98 if she wins 2 more on this season. A pretty good bet, I would say, given how this softball team has been playing. We're about ready to resume action. The stadium teeming with fans. Fans flocking to see this team even down the third base line. Wagner on the bump. At the plate, Shelby Pickett. Wagner winds. The first pitch. Called strike on the outside corner to Shelby Pickett. Came in there with the fastball. Pickett let it go by. Pickett with a tall frame in the box. She's hitting .352 on the year with 8 home runs, 36 RBI. The 0-1 pitch from Wagner. Off speed, grounded on a hop to short. Ramirez fields, tosses over to first. 1 up, 1 down for the Pittsburgh Panthers. And that off speed offering just caused Pickett to roll over that ball with the hands, mash it into the dirt, and Ramirez made a nice play. That'll bring up the second baseman, Maggie Sevilla. Sevilla hitting .362 on the year with 5 home runs, 28 RBI. Infield and outfield shading straight away on the righty Sevilla. Wagner winds. The first pitch misses high for ball 1.
Wagner not known as much as Betsa for doing the climbing the ladder routine, but tried to climb the ladder there. Sevilla not biting.
Sevilla stands tall with the boxer in the box, her feet close together. Bat raised high above her right shoulder. The 0-1 pitch, swinging a foul ball toward the third base side off of the screen. That went in on the hands of Sevilla.
Wagner brought the high cheese there, and Sevilla couldn't help but have a little nibble at it, but it was some sharp cheddar as she had to foul that one off sharply back down the third base line.
The count moves to 1-1 with 1 out. Wagner winds, delivers the 1-1 pitch. Misses high again. Wagner really trying to establish that upper half of the strike zone. I don't think she's actually found it yet. The count 2-1 now. Sevilla stands at the back of the batter's box, the righty batter's box. Slightly open stance. The 2-1 pitch from Wagner, swinging a ground ball right to Ramirez at short. She fields, throws over to first. 2 up, 2 down for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Really the same thing there again from Wagner, forcing Sevilla to get on top of that one and just make an easy ground ball out.
Now with 2 outs, that'll bring up Jenna Modich. Modich listed on our lineups as a right-handed hitter, but she stands in that lefty batter's box. The first pitch from Wagner to Modich misses high for ball 1. Modich with a very wide stance, generating a lot of power from those legs. Stands toward the front of the batter's box, her front foot almost on that front line.
Definitely saw her generate a lot of power last night. Like we mentioned, the grand slam against Cal, really the difference maker for the Panthers as they went on that one 5-2.
The 1-0 pitch from Wagner, called strike on the outside corner. Poured in the fastball there. Modich let it go by. Modich rests the bat on her left shoulder in the batter's box. Wagner looks in, gets the sign from the catcher, Lauren Sweet. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Hard fastball up out of the zone. Got Modich to bite. The count now 1-2.
Big cut from Modich there. Looked like she was trying to deposit that one over the right field wall, much like she did last night.
The 1-2 pitch from Wagner. Swinging a line drive, base hit. That's going to drop into left field. 2 hops into the glove of Kelly Christner. And Modich is on with a 2-out base hit to try to start a rally for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Better piece of hitting there on that one from Modich after taking a couple big cuts. Definitely took her time more with that one and really worked it and stroked it into left field there.
Yeah, that one, a pitch off the outer edge of the plate. Modich just threw the bat out there and found the barrel and looped it into left field. That'll bring up Michaela Taylor, the first pitch from Wagner off the plate outside for ball 1. Sweet paying a little attention to Modich down at first base. Not a big stolen base threat.
1 for 1 on the season.
Hey, she's perfect in her attempts. Taylor with a very open stance in the righty batter's box. The 0-1 pitch from Wagner, swinging a line drive down the third base line, off the glove of Monty Morano. That one ricochets into the corner. Christner over the field, throws it into third. Close play. Monty Morano can't handle the throw. It bounces up off her glove. They might have had Jenna Modich at third base, but a tough throw. Monty Morano could not handle it. Into second base on that play is Michaela Taylor with a 2-out double, and now with runners on second and third, the Pitt Panthers are threatening.
Well, they call it the hot corner for a reason. Monty Morano just up out of her crouch there to reach her glove out, and it poked off the outside part of her glove and rolled into foul territory. And then I think if the throw would have been handled a little bit better, they might have had a very close play at third base, but it did pop out of the glove and allowed Modich to slide into third base safely.
So with 2 outs here, Wagner looked to be going through this lineup pretty routinely, but running into a little bit of trouble now. At the plate will be the center fielder, Carly Thea. Thea, a lefty, is hitting .335 on the year with 38 RBI, 3 home runs. A brief conference at the mound now. Jennifer Brundage, assistant coach, out there to talk to Wagner. The home plate ump, Eric Manley, out to break that one up.
Not something Haley Wagner is super used to, having to work out of jams here with 2 runners in scoring position. Like we mentioned, opponents have only been hitting .203 against her coming into this game. Pitt looking to put a little damage on here and bring themselves back from what is now a 5-run deficit.
First pitch to Carly Thea, misses low for ball 1. Infield shaded at normal depth on Thea. Monty Morano playing several steps in off the line at third. Or rather, she's playing very close to the third base line, as is Tara Blanco down at first. Wagner winds. The 1-0 pitch to Thea misses high for ball 2.
Still working a lot in that upper half of the strike zone is Wagner, trying to draw some cuts from these Panther hitters, but when she goes up high like that, she's left a few out over the plate, and that's put her in the position she's in now with runners on second and third.
The count 2-0 on the lefty, Carly Thea. The pitch, called strike on the inside corner.
Well placed there, and she kept that one down a little bit more, brought it inside and worked it in on the hands, and not much that Thea could do there.
Thea rocks back and forth from her front to back foot as she waits for the pitch. A lot of motion in that stance. The 2-1 pitch from Wagner, swinging a ground ball over to Monty Morano at third. She snags it, throws across the diamond right into the glove of Blanco. Thea is out at first base, and Wagner is out of a jam. Pitt scores no runs in the bottom of the first inning. We head to the top of the second with the Michigan Wolverines leading the Pitt Panthers 5-0 here at Alumni Field. You are listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, Haley Wagner definitely did a good job there. After making a couple small mistakes and allowing some runners to get on base, she definitely worked her off-speed stuff well enough to draw some ground ball outs. Look for a lot more of those ground ball outs as she continues today. And also maybe look for a few words between innings here with some of the pitching staff about her attacking that upper part of the zone as often as she did, as it can be a little bit dangerous if it doesn't get up high enough and you aren't drawing the cuts that you want to draw, as we saw with the double off the bat of Michaela Taylor, and that's what's going to happen to Haley Wagner if she leaves those pitches up in the zone. So maybe look for her to work the lower half, change some eye levels a little bit more. Wasn't doing a whole lot as far as changing the leveling of her pitches in that inning.
Yeah, to be fair, she did get through the first 2 hitters pretty easily, and the hit that I saw from Jenna Modich looked like it was a well-located pitch off the outer edge. Sometimes, you know, good offense beats good pitching, and while Wagner has been overpowering from time to time, this Pitt softball team is a pretty good team as well. But regardless, she was able to escape that inning unscathed, and Kayla Harris will head back out to the rubber for the Pitt Panthers. Harris threw 123 pitches in yesterday's complete game victory over the Cal Golden Bears. 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 3 total runs, 6 hits, 4 walks surrendered, and she struck out 10, not having quite as much success here against the Wolverines.
I don't think Harris was expecting to have to come into the game as early as she did, but those Wolverines bats knocked Savannah King out of this game without her even being able to record an out.
King's final line on the day, starting pitcher for the Panthers, 0 innings pitched, 2 hits surrendered, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, and a hit by pitch, obviously.
Well, since it shows that she didn't pitch any innings, maybe it'll be a little bit easier for her to forget about giving up those 4 runs, 2 of them off of the illegal pitches that really allowed Sierra Lawrence to walk home after getting a leadoff double.
Yep. It looked like Savannah King was just a little bit out of sorts today. And today is not the day to be out of sorts as Pittsburgh's season is on the line. Kayla Harris coming in relief, hoping to try to salvage that. She will face the top of the lineup in Sierra Lawrence as Michigan sent all 9 batters to the plate in the first inning. Harris looks in and gets the sign from Duran, winds and delivers the first pitch to Lawrence. Misses off the inside part of the plate for ball 1.
But we saw Lawrence lace up on a ball in her first at bat and get a nice double that she was thinking 2 bags all the way out of the batter's box and walked away home on the illegal pitches.
The 1-0 pitch to Lawrence, called strike, about thigh high right down the middle. Count out 1-1 on Lawrence, and Lawrence, known for her speed, she has 51 career stolen bases for Michigan. The junior center fielder, only 12 off of the all-time lead. The 1-1 pitch off speed, off the plate outside for ball 2. Lawrence saw that one all the way and didn't see fit to offer at it. The count 2-1 on Lawrence. Nobody on, nobody out. Harris winds and delivers. She swings and grounds one on a couple hops right to the shortstop Taylor. She fields, throws over to first to retire Lawrence. 1 up and 1 down for the Wolverines to start the top of the second.
Good pitch there from Harris, and again, kind of the same thing we saw from Haley Wagner in the last half inning, really just seeing Lawrence get on top of that ball, and she hit it hard, but right at the shortstop.
That'll bring up Sierra Romero. Romero hit by a pitch in her first plate appearance. The first pitch she sees from Harris just misses off the outer edge for ball 1.
Already a better start to the top of this inning than the top of the first inning, as Pitt's actually recorded an out before another batter stepped in.
The 1-0 pitch to Romero, off the plate outside for ball 2. And let's not forget, one of the outs that Pitt did record was basically given to them in the form of a sacrifice bunt. The count 2-0 now on Romero. Harris is going to have to throw a strike to this dangerous hitter. The 2-0 pitch, bunted down the first base line. Romero's going to beat that one out with ease. The throw comes from the first baseman, Caitlin Manuel, but it is not even close to getting the speedy Romero. She's on first base with a 1-out bunt single.
That's the second time we've seen Sierra Romero do that this weekend, and really not known for dropping bunt base hits, but I think that's the idea behind it, is the Pitt defense was not ready for that one whatsoever, and that bunt placed perfectly by Romero, just edging towards the first base line, and had enough nice spin on it for her to get down to first.
Christner in the box now swings the first pitch and lines it foul into the screen behind home plate.
Christner drew a walk in her last at bat, scored on the Susala home run.
Wind still a factor, blowing a little more in from right field right now. Romero, a speedster down at first base in her own right. The 0-1 pitch to Christner, off speed, bunted. That one popped up foul behind the catcher, Catherine Duran. Christner perhaps lucky to still be at the plate with a chance to hit now.
Gonna have to tread lightly there if you're Kelly Christner, getting underneath that bunt just a little bit too much, and if you leave it up like that, it's gonna make easy pickings for the catcher Duran to pick that one out of the air.
The 0-2 pitch from Harris, swinging a foul ball back to the screen. And, you know, over the course of the season, it's been a little of anything you can do, I can do better between Christner and Sierra Romero. They've been battling for the team home run lead throughout the season. Romero has eclipsed Christner with her recent tear in the Big Ten tournament and carrying into this regional tournament. And perhaps Christner trying to emulate Romero and lay down a bunt there. Unsuccessful, though. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And a fastball up in the zone on the outer edge. 2 down now for the Wolverines. That'll bring Kelsey Susala to the plate. Susala gonna rocket out of here to right field in her first at bat, looking to do more of the same.
laced a hot liner that wasn't your typical looking home run ball as it just squeaked out of here.
First pitch she sees is a called strike on the outside corner. Good location there by Kayla Harris.
Kayla Harris probably going to work towards the outside with most of her pitches here just to keep it away from the bat of Susala.
Romero still on first base. Surprised we haven't seen her go yet. Harris winds, delivers. Off-speed pitches hit high into left field. Tracking toward the warning track. It'll settle, though, into the glove of the left fielder, Ashley Sills. Susala gave it a ride. Couldn't catch enough of that jet stream heading out to left field. So the Wolverines do not tally a run in the top of the second inning. We head to the bottom half. Still a 5-0 lead for your Michigan Wolverines.
Well, a much easier inning there for Kayla Harris. She really came back and threw a lot better quality pitching that half inning. I think we saw her sort of change up the eye levels. She stayed away from throwing anything over the plate and kept it away from the Wolverines hitters. And that was something that the starting pitcher, Savannah King, struggled to do, and something that Harris also struggled to do early on in her relief outing today. She's recorded all the outs so far for the Pitt Panthers.
Yeah, Kayla Harris not setting the world on fire out of the bullpen, but still a marked improvement over the starter, Savannah King. The wind really whipping into us. Now the sky is almost completely covered in clouds, and you got to wonder whether those thunderstorms that had a chance of coming over this game may start to rear their ugly head right now.
I want to dance with somebody.
Jeremy, nobody wants to sing with you or dance with you right now. They just want to hear a softball game.
Well, you know, it's between innings, and since it's on ESPNU, we have some longer breaks. And as some of our veteran listeners know, I have a thing for singing some of the songs in between innings here.
I got to say, it would be about 10 times worse if you didn't have such golden pipes.
It's that gentle falsetto of mine. Been rocking that one since 96.
Wagner back on the hill for the Wolverines, on the bump, I should say. She gave up 2 hits with 2 outs in her first inning, but able to settle down and record the final out. Wagner will face Caitlin Manuel, the first baseman, followed by Jordan Fannin and then Catherine Duran, the 6, 7, 8 hitters in the Pitt lineup, none of whom are hitting over 271 on the season. Not a lot of power in that stretch of the order either. Manuel, however, quick on the bases. She leads the Pitt Panthers, is tied for the Pitt Panthers lead in stolen bases. And I'd like to thank listener Andrew Hausman, who just let us know that he was tired of Jeremy Parks' golden voice singing.
Well, Andrew Hausman maybe a little bit jealous as he's stuck broadcasting baseball for all of this season.
Hey, that's a little unfair. By the way, the baseball team did just take 2 out of 3 from a ranked team in the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Caitlin Manuel at the plate. The first pitch from Wagner, called strike on the outside corner with the fastball. They will be heading down to Minneapolis for the Big Ten tournament, and I do believe that WCBN will be broadcasting some of those games for you.
At least we know Zach Shaw will be there.
The 0-1 pitch from Wagner off speed, grounded down the first base line. And while Wagner has not been quite dominant yet in the first inning, she has done a good job of working in that off-speed pitch. The count 0-2 now on Caitlin Manuel. Infield shaded in on the speedy first baseman. She has an open stance, resting the bat on her left shoulder. The 0-2 pitch just misses off the outer edge. The count now 1-2.
Wagner looking to get back to work and sort of drop some of those off-speed pitches down low so that these Pitt hitters get on top of them again. She produced 3 ground ball outs in her first inning of work.
Wagner's 1-2 pitch, swinging a foul ball. Manuel fouled that off of her foot. The count stays 1-2. Wagner poured in the heater right there. Maybe look for her to throw in another off-speed pitch, though. She really does that more of a change of pace rather than a consistent bullet in her arsenal. The 1-2 pitch from Wagner, off-speed pitch in the dirt. Manuel lets it go by. The count now 2-2 on number 2 for the Pittsburgh Panthers. 2's across the board, as it is also the bottom of the second inning. A little confused because Pitt's at the plate. The count 2-2. The pitch just misses off the plate outside. The fans groaning. They wanted that one. It's a colorful crowd here today. Most of those colors maize and blue, as the Michigan faithful have turned out in droves to support this team again.
The Pitt Panthers traveling pretty well, too, down that third base line.
The 3-2 pitch, lined back up the middle under the glove of Haley Wagner for a base hit. A leadoff single for Caitlin Manuel, and Pitt again trying to rally and claw their way back into this game.
Good job. Good piece of hitting there from Manuel. Really just teed up on that one and caught it square and sent it right back up the gut under the glove of Haley Wagner, who just wasn't quick enough to reach down there and snag it.
That was a fastball that, as we could see, thanks to ESPNU's camera work, caught a little too much of the outside edge. Manuel just doing nothing more than line it back up the middle. That'll bring up the lefty, Jordan Fannin. The first pitch from Wagner, swinging a foul ball. Fannin takes off down the first baseline, but that one didn't even have a prayer of going fair. Manuel on first base has stolen a base 7 times in 8 attempts. She and Ashley Sills are really the only base stealing threats on this team. She is crouched and poised to run over at first base. 0-1 count on Fannin. Wagner winds, delivers, swinging a pop-up foul down the third baseline, just out of the reach of Lindsay Montemurano. Monty was shaded a few steps in. You think maybe if she was at her normal position at third base, even with the baseline, she would have had a chance at that one. Regardless, foul ball is just a strike. The count now 0-2.
A couple steps back and 2 inches more stature-wise might have helped there for Monty, but almost made a good play there.
That pitch was in on the hands of Fannin, who was tardy on the swing. Wagner going to try to retire her here on the 0-2 pitch. It is on its way. Swinging a foul ball down the third baseline. Again, out of the reach of Montemurano. This one lands in that coaching box. Monty collects it, gives it back to her pitcher, who will try to find that put-away pitch against Jordan Fannin. Fannin, the right fielder, hitting .271 on the year for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Manuel has not shown any tendency toward taking off yet down at first base. Fannin has her feet very close together in the box, a quiet stance. The 0-2 pitch from Wagner misses off the inner edge for ball 1.
Tried to work that one inside, just missed by a bit. Look for Wagner to maybe go outside with this next one and switch it up on Fannin, as she's got a little bit of room to work here.
The catcher, Catherine Duran, waits on deck. Infield and outfield shaded straight away. Montemurano playing in on the third base line. Wagner winds the 1-2 pitch, swing and a pop-up foul off of the screen. Bounces back down into play. Fannin just reached out and poked that one, just trying to get the bat on that one, protect the plate. She has done so successfully for the last few pitches. The count now 1-2. The lefty Fannin stands toward the back of the batter's box, her feet close together, rests the bat on her left shoulder. Wagner winds the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Runner taking off for second to throw. In time, they got her. A strike them out, throw them out right there. Lauren Sweet with the throw, Sierra Romero the tag, and we have 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, the throw was so quick that they weren't even to second base yet. The tag was made about 3 steps off of second base, and that's just how quick Sweet got up out of her crouch and threw it down to second. She saw that one coming from a mile away, and strike him out, throw him out. What a play.
That off-speed pitch is easier to steal on, but Lauren Sweet playing no games there. Catherine Duran takes the first pitch, a fastball off the plate outside for ball 1, and thanks to ESPNU's excellent camera work, we saw the whip quick tag of Sierra Romero get in just before Manuel slid into second base. The count 1-0 on Catherine Duran. Wagner winds and delivers. She swings, grounds one on a short hop to Montemurano at third. She fields, throws across the diamond to first, and that'll do it for the Pittsburgh Panthers. They get the leadoff runner on, but can do no more. We head to the top of the third inning. Michigan leading this one 5-0 on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball.
Well, the Pitt Panthers perhaps getting just a little bit greedy there, trying to get back into this game quicker rather than later, as they did send the runner there, but it proved to be a fatal decision as she was thrown out at second base. And really, they don't have a whole lot of time, and runners are going to be hard to come by against the strong pitching of Haley Wagner.
Elsewhere in the sports world, the Houston Rockets are beating the Los Angeles Clippers 48-33 in the second quarter. Shelby Miller on the baseball diamond was robbed of a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
That's all that happened in the sports.
That's about all that's important, and really importance is relative because this is the only thing on my only thing I'm really paying attention to right now.
Well, we're going to get you some scores coming up once they load from the NCAA and some of the other regionals. As you all probably know by now, we've mentioned it several times over the course of the weekend. If Michigan does take this game today, if the score holds, and even if they do fall in this game and win the next game later on this afternoon, which is if necessary, then they would advance and host a super regional next weekend against the winner of the Athens, Georgia regional. And presumably if seeding would hold, that would be the Georgia Bulldogs. But we will tell you how that regional is shaped up. Scores back in. But the wireless internet here at Alumni Field currently not cooperating.
Fortunately, it's cooperating enough for us to broadcast. That would surely be a tragedy if we could not bring this game to you. And I mentioned earlier how it didn't look like we would need the lights, but they are coming on slowly but surely here at Alumni Field as the sky quite dark. A little bit more time between innings as this is obviously a high-profile game, one broadcast on national television. The Pitt Panthers out and throwing, their entire bench staying loose out in left field between innings as Kayla Harris throws her warm-up pitches. Looks like she has thrown her final warm-up pitch. The bench players retreating to the bench. The outfielders going back to their positions out in the outfield, congregating right now on the big Michigan M in center field. Slapping 5, heading back out. Lauren Sweet leading off the inning for the Wolverines. Sweet 1 for 1 on the day. Harris looks in, gets a sign from Duran. She winds and delivers the first pitch off speed. Sweet swings, hits one high, short right field. Coming on to make the catch is Jordan Fannin. Had a long run there and probably bailed out her second baseman, Maggie Sevilla, who did not have a great read on that one. 1 up, 1 down for the Wolverines on 1 pitch. That'll bring up Lindsay Montemarano. Montemarano out on a sacrifice bunt in her first at-bat. So no official at-bat in the scorebook. Harris winds the first pitch, swung on and grounded softly toward short. Fielded, thrown over to first base by Michaela Taylor. 2 up, 2 down on 2 pitches for the Michigan Wolverines. Kayla Harris having a pretty easy inning so far. That'll bring up Aiden Falk. Perhaps she might want to take a pitch and make Harris actually work. Falk in her first at-bat hit a double down the left field line. Harris winds the first pitch to Falk. Called strike on the outside corner. At least it's not going to be a 3-pitch inning for the Wolverines, but Harris really seems to have settled down, commanding the ball well. 0-1 count on Aiden Falk. Harris winds, delivers. Misses off of the outside corner with a fastball there. The count even at 1-1. Falk has a wide stance in the box, slightly open in that lefty batter's box. Positions her weight pretty much evenly over both feet. Harris winds the 1-1 pitch. Off speed, curveball, called strike on the outside corner. Good change of pace there from Kayla Harris. The count now 1-2 on Aiden Falk.
That big looping breaking ball really only works when you're going to catch the hitter off guard, and Harris did that there as Falk wasn't expecting the slow stuff, or at least that slow.
1-2 pitch. Falk swings, fouls it off on the left side off of the screen, giving some fans in the first rows down the third base line a bit of a jolt in case their afternoon coffee wasn't enough. The clouds darkening over Alumni Field right now. You'll have to let us know what the forecast is. You can interact with us on Twitter. The 1-2 pitch from Harris to Falk. Swung on, poked down the third base line. That one rolls foul. A couple fans reaching over the railing. They're not going to have a chance to get that one, though.
Fending off those ones with 2 strikes on her.
This Wolverines lineup adept in that department as they are in, well, pretty much every possible department there is in softball. The alumni band, tuba player, firing up the crowd. The 1-2 pitch line, back up the middle, a base hit. Aiden Falk poked that one on the ground, but found a hole, and she's on first base with 2 outs. That will bring up the first baseman, Tara Blanco. Good job by Falk of waiting back on that off-speed pitch and just poking it right back where it came from. Wolverines looking for a 2-out rally here. And rain starting to fall here at Alumni Field. The fans making a lot of rustling. Looks like a lot of fans did bring their rain gear. They're prepared to tough it out in pursuit of watching this Wolverines team. Harris winds the first pitch to Blanco, taken high for a ball.
We did want to give a quick shout out to fellow WCBN reporter Kevin Klein. Predicts a home run from Tara Blanco in every single one of her at-bats.
Blanco with that open stance, tall, sturdy frame, got a lot of power in that bat. The 1-0 pitch from Harris misses outside. Blanco a 2-0 count. We'll have a chance to do something with this pitch.
Quick run of the weather looks like it is a small cell that should be passing over relatively quickly here. Just a light dusting for the moment of rain.
The wind has picked up along with this rain falling at Alumni Field. The 2-0 pitch from Harris. Blanco takes it off the plate outside. The count now 3-0 on Tara Blanco. Probably going to take this one.
I don't think we've seen a Wolverines hitter swing on 3-0 all season long.
Got to wonder if that's even been done in Carol Hutchins' 31-year career. It probably has.
Probably got chewed out for it afterwards as well.
3-0 pitch from Harris to Blanco. Just misses high with the fastball there. Ball 4. Blanco down to first base with a 2-out walk. And now the Wolverines threatening a little bit here. Runners on first and second with 2 outs and a conference at the mound. Catherine Duran going out to talk to her pitcher, Kayla Harris.
While that circle visit occurs, we did in fact get the scores from the NCAA, and it does look like down in that Athens regional today in the final there, Georgia is currently up 12-0 on the Western Kentucky Hill Toppers in the bottom of the 4th inning. So looking like they're going to advance to face whoever comes out of this regional, and if Michigan holds on to the 5-0 lead, it will be the Wolverines hosting the Georgia Bulldogs next weekend.
Abby Ramirez steps up to the plate now, 0 for 1 on today's game. She sees the first pitch, swings, and pops it up foul off of the screen behind home plate. Infield and outfield shaded several steps in from their normal positions on the light-hitting lefty. I shouldn't say light-hitting, but maybe not powerful lefty. Harris winds the 1-0 pitch, swinging a pop-up down the left field line. That one out of the reach of the left fielder, Ashley Stills, but that one ruled a foul ball by the third base ump, Laura Head. The fans cheering because they saw a couple runs come around to score, but those runners retreat to their positions on first and second, Tara Blanco and Aiden Falk respectively. The count now 0-2 on Abby Ramirez. She gave that one a ride.
Definitely gave it a ride, and that one just an inch or two fouled past the glove of the left fielder, Sills.
0-2 count on Ramirez. Going to have to shorten up the swing. The 0-2 pitch. Swung grounded softly to short. Bobbled by the shortstop, Taylor. Ramirez is over at first base. Safely on the error. The Wolverines' threat still alive here in the top of the 3rd.
No play there after the bobble at short by Taylor, and uncharacteristic there from Taylor. She has the highest fielding percentage of any of the Pitt Panthers.
Michaela Taylor, normally sure-handed, allowing the Wolverines to extend this inning and bring the top of the lineup, and Sierra Lawrence to the plate with the bases loaded. Sierra Romero awaits on deck, and this is some trouble.
It's some trouble, and that's going to bring out the entire infield to come in and talk to Kayla Harris, and just going to have to calm her down a bit here. Wolverines pressing now.
Looks like head coach Holly April out there to talk to her pitcher Harris, and I'm sorry if I'm botching the pronunciation.
April. We didn't get a pronunciation guide for the coaching names.
Yeah, they gave us such names as Shelby Pickett, which is about as easy as they come. Really no difficult names in this Pittsburgh lineup, but didn't include a pronunciation for the coach. Perhaps wanting us to focus on the action on the field. Looks as though the rain has stopped falling here at Alumni Field. Lawrence into that righty batter's box. No count, 2 outs, bases juiced. Harris winds, delivers. The first pitch, a called strike over the outside part of the plate on Sierra Lawrence. That looked like a good pitch to hit, but it also looked like Lawrence was taken all the way.
The bases are juiced, and Sierra Lawrence looking to squeeze the orange, per se.
I believe we should keep the food metaphors at pizza. The 0-1 pitch, called strike on the outside corner. Good spot with the fastball. Lawrence quickly behind in the count 0-2.
Well,
no, I guess the base is juiced, kind of hard to apply that to pizza too. Maybe filled with toppings. Would that work?
Yeah.
The 0-2 pitch just misses off the outside corner for ball 1.
Wolverines sitting on an everything pizza right now.
You got your mushrooms, you got your pepperoni, you got your Italian sausage, got the cheese, got the sauce, got the crust. All that's left is for Sierra Lawrence to take a big bite out of a softball. She takes the 1-2 pitch just off of the edge for ball 2. The count now 2-2.
You probably hope she doesn't actually take a bite out of a softball because that would be kind of gross.
That would also hurt if it's a pitch coming in from the right arm of Kayla Harris. The sun peeking out here. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The windup and the pitch. Lawrence swings and belts one high. Deep into center field. That one off of the base of the wall. 2 runs will score. Now a third coming around. Ramirez slides in safely. The throw gets away from the catcher. Lawrence trots down to third base. A bases clearing double. Moving to third on the throw. And how's that for pizza?
That's some good pizza.
Sierra Lawrence coming up huge and giving the Michigan Wolverines an 8-0 lead here at Alumni Field.
Well, sort of mimicking their potential opponent, the Georgia Bulldogs, who are currently up 12-0 and looking to advance to the Super Regional, and it looks like they are showing no signs of slowing down here.
And that's just a case of if you make a mistake, as Michaela Taylor did, this Wolverines team will punish you. They have time after time throughout this season. Sierra Lawrence making sure today is no exception. That'll bring up Sierra Romero. The first pitch from Harris. Called strike on the outside corner. You know, I thought that one might have been gone off the bat the way Lawrence stroked it, hit it so hard, but alas, Wolverines will have to settle for 3 runs instead of 4. Count 0-1 on Romero. Harris winds, delivers. Misses low with a breaking ball there. The count now 1-1.
Sierra Romero with 1 more home run would break the Wolverines' all-time record. Currently at 62.
Romero stands with a wide stance toward the front of the batter's box, slightly open. The 1-1 pitch from Harris. Romero takes it just off the outside corner for ball 2.
Fans here at Alumni Field falling a little bit quiet, waiting for Romero to do something big with the stick here.
The type of hitter where you have to drop what you're doing and turn and watch. The 2-1 pitch from Harris. Taken off the plate, outside for ball 3. You can just feel the electricity in the air right now. I'm getting goosebumps, but maybe that's just the wind coming from behind us. Harris looks in the 3-1 pitch to Romero. Just misses off the plate outside, opting not to face the terrifying 2-bagger for the Wolverines. She's down to first base with a 2-out walk. Runners now on first and third for Kelly Christner.
This all coming with 2 outs for the Wolverines. A pretty impressive 2-out rally. Yeah. Something that they did yesterday as well.
All started with Aiden Falk singling back up the middle. They walked Tara Blanco on 4 pitches. Abby Ramirez grounded into an error by the shortstop Taylor. Lawrence cleared the bases, and it was a great piece of hitting by Lawrence. The pitch was on the inside corner. She got her hands all the way through the zone and found the barrel of the bat on that one, drove it into the left center field gap just beyond the outstretched arm of Carly Thea in center. The first pitch to Christner, swing and a miss. Romero down to second on a delayed steal, and Christner clearly just swinging to protect the runner there as she was nowhere near that offering. So now runners on second and third for the Wolverines. The catcher Duran threw it right back to her pitcher Harris, trying to fake Lawrence into going home. The 0-1 pitch to Christner, breaking ball just misses low for ball 1. And we've seen a lot of approaches to that first and third steal of second, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually make the throw down to second. The count 1-1 now. Kayla Harris throws to Christner. Just misses off the outside corner for ball 2. Home plate ump Eric Manley. Bit of a tight strike zone thus far, but hasn't been too controversial yet. Count 2-1 on Christner. Kelsey Susella waiting on deck. Harris winds the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and popped up foul down the left field line. That one off the screen in front of the fans and bounces down into the left field corner. The count now 2-2 on Kelly Christner. 2's across the board again. 2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Number 2-1 at the plate for the Wolverines. Christner awaits the 2-2 pitch on its way. Swung on and just tapped foul down the third base line off of the backstop of home plate. Bounces down toward Coach Carol Hutchins at third base.
Defensive cut there from Christner, just enough to keep her alive. Again, these Wolverines always fighting with 2 strikes on them.
We saw in the first inning, she kept fighting off outside pitches till she was able to line one into left field. The 2-2 pitch, ground ball, back up the middle, but Michaela Taylor is there to field it and throw over to first to end the inning for the Wolverines, but they tally 3 runs on the bases clearing 3-run double by Sierra Lawrence. We head to the bottom of the third inning with Michigan leading this one 8-0.
Well, we're going to give you a quick roundup now of those scores from the other regionals around the country. Florida advancing out of their regional in Gainesville. Kentucky actually advancing through the Notre Dame regional after beating Notre Dame in the championship game there. So it'll be Kentucky and Florida meeting in a super regional at Florida next weekend. Florida State advancing out of their regional after beating South Carolina and UCF respectively. And waiting to face them will be either Tennessee or Utah. Tennessee currently up 2-0 on Utah in the bottom of the second inning there. LSU waiting to face Arizona State in the championship of the LSU regional. And they'll face the winner of Arizona-Minnesota in the Arizona regional there. Louisiana Lafayette waiting the winner of Baylor-Mississippi State as to who they'll play in the championship game of the Louisiana Lafayette regional. Auburn currently waiting to play Southern Alabama down in Auburn, Alabama. Michigan here looking like they're going to be the ones to advance out of their home regional and face potentially the Georgia Bulldogs, who are still currently up 12-0 on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Oh, score just updated. It's now 17-0 on Western Kentucky. So Georgia bats coming to play there today. And if Georgia does advance and Michigan advances again, it will be here in Ann Arbor next weekend. Oklahoma waiting to play Texas A&M later on this evening for the championship of the Norman, Oklahoma regional. Alabama advancing out of their regional in Tuscaloosa. They'll face the winner of UCLA and San Diego State in Los Angeles. Missouri advancing out of their regional there. And North Carolina State and Oregon both advancing in their regionals. North Carolina State advancing out of the James Madison regional. Oregon advancing out of their home regional in Eugene.
That all?
Those are your 8 super regional matchups.
All right, thank you for that,
with
Jeremy.
A few pending. And the winner of those 8 super regional matchups will punch their ticket to Oklahoma City next weekend, and Oklahoma City 2 weeks from now.
Back to this game, Lindsey Montemurano and Tara Blanco dancing at each other across the diamond as Katy Perry's firework blares over the loudspeakers. And Michigan's had some fireworks going on offense on this day that has turned a little bit dreary looking at the skies. They've tallied 8 runs through 3 innings, a lineup that just does not stop hitting. One of the best teams that has been under the leadership of Carol Hutchins. They're 53-6 on the season and look to be in the driver's seat on their way to the Super Regional. They wouldn't have to drive far, though, as it will be held back here in Ann Arbor.
If it is here in Ann Arbor, we will be here. At least I will be here. Not sure if Morris will be here next weekend to bring you that Super Regional action.
Ashley Sills leading off for the Panthers. The first pitch from Wagner is swung on and tapped foul down the third base line. Sills at the number 9 spot in the Pittsburgh lineup, hitting 200 on the year. Has appeared in 54 out of 58 possible games for the Pitt Panthers. Only an on-base percentage of .289. The 0-1 pitch from Wagner is swung on and fouled back to the screen. Sills quickly behind in the count, 0-2. She is a threat on the bases, having stolen 7 times in 9 attempts. Perhaps more of a defensive asset for this team out in left field. Wagner winds the 0-2 pitch to Sills. Swung on and tapped foul down the third base line. That one just out of the reach of Lindsey Montemurano. A line drive. Never really threatened to find fair play.
Montemurano learned after the double off of the bat of Michaela Taylor that sticking the glove out might not always be the best decision if you're only going to be able to knock it down.
Wagner winds the 0-2 pitch. Swing and another tapper foul toward the Pitt dugout on the third base side. Wagner trying to climb the ladder with the high heat, but not quite able to put away Ashley Sills.
Still with room to work, Wagner could look to some of her off-speed stuff maybe and try and draw some poor cuts from Sills with some good action.
Wagner winds the 0-2 pitch, hits Sills on the ankle. That one made a loud sound, clattering with that left leg. Hope she's okay. She'll go down to first base. A big mistake there from Wagner, giving away an 0-2 at bat.
Sills is going to smile on her way down to first base. She didn't have any protection on her ankles, no ankle plate or anything, and that's going to be a bit of a stinger off of the foot there.
She's trying to walk it off at first base now. I don't think Pittsburgh would want to pinch run for her, as she is a base-stealing threat in her own right.
Might not want to try and attempt to even steal with her on a bad foot, though.
This is true, and it all depends on whether she's good to go. Right now, it looks like she's going to try to tough it out and stay on first base. That'll bring around the leadoff hitter for the Pittsburgh Panthers, Shelby Pickett. Pickett grounded out to short in her first at-bat. Wagner looks in, gets the sign from Sweet, winds, delivers. A bunt down the third base line, beautifully done. Montemurano picks it, throws to first. Not in time. The throw pulled Sierra Romero off the bag anyway. A perfect bunt there by Maggie Sevilla. Montemurano played that about as quickly as she could have, but could not get the throw down to first in time. And now Pittsburgh threatening with 2 on and no out here to start the third inning.
That was actually Shelby Pickett, not Maggie Sevilla, but
my fault.
They had flashed Sevilla's name already up on the board as Pickett made it down to first base as Sevilla is ready to step into the batter's box.
And Carol Hutchins will come out to have a word with Haley Wagner on the mound. Talking things over with her infield, probably going over the defensive response to what will probably be a sacrifice bunt, you would imagine.
I'd imagine so, but again, maybe just some calming words as well in addition to some defensive reminders as Wagner finds herself in the stickiest situation she's been in so far today. Runners on first and second and none out. Michigan still has an 8-run lead, so Wagner is comfortable but far from safe here in the bottom of the third inning.
Maggie Sevilla will step into that righty batter's box right now. The corner's playing in for the Wolverines, the middle infield at double play depth. Wagner winds. The first pitch to Sevilla. Misses high for ball 1.
Trying to get Sevilla to chase up and in there, but that'll go for ball 1. Like we said, Wagner does have an 8-run lead behind her, so she can be a little bit more comfortable than most would be with runners on first and second and none out.
The 1-0 pitch now from Wagner. Bunted. Straight back to Wagner. Fielded by Blanco. She throws to Romero covering first base and records the out. The runners move up to second and third. A sacrifice bunt that gets the job done and sets it up for Jenna Modich.
A good routine sacrifice bunt there from Sevilla. Put it down the first base line and made the only play that she could, did Tara Blanco down to first base.
Michigan's corner infielders converged on that one like hawks on roadkill. All over that one was Tara Blanco pouncing on it, not making a pitcher make the play, and Romero covering first base. Good fundamental defense there. First pitch to Modich is swung on and popped up foul down the third base line. That one going to find its way out of play and bounce into the hands of a fan who will toss it right to an usher.
Again, Modich was the one that really made the game alive for Pitt yesterday after hitting a grand slam. They were down 2-1 at that point, wound up taking the game 5-2. She's looking to put some charge into her swing here and get Pitt back into this game as they're down 8.
The 0-1 pitch misses high with the fastball. Modich singled to left in her first at-bat. Found a pitch on the outer edge by Haley Wagner and just poked into the left. A solid hitter and one that really crowds the plate, forcing Wagner to try to keep the pitch on the outer edge to avoid hitting her. The 1-1 pitch by Wagner, swung on line, back up the middle. That one's into center field for a base hit. Lawrence coming up throwing, runner coming home. The throw way over the head of Sweet, bounces around behind home plate. Wagner was backing up her catcher, Sweet, picks it up, but Jenna Modich down to second base with a 2-run single, moving up to second on the throw. And you think Sierra Lawrence might not have even had a chance at retiring Shelby Pickett at home plate, but
if the throw were a little bit more accurate, it would have been a close play, but that one sailed over the head of Lawrence Sweet. And looks like Pitt is also going to put a pinch runner on base now. That'll be number 5 for them, Morgan Coe. Or Chue, actually, is the Che is the pronunciation in the pronunciation guide. Choe Che on second base there.
Third time's the charm. Sorry, third time's the charm. My fault.
Third time is the Che.
And it looks like Megan Betza will come out of the dugout and replace Haley Wagner on the mound. Wagner's day is done. She threw 2 1/3 innings. Got into trouble in pretty much every inning, most notably the first and third innings. And Betza will take over with a runner on second base and 1 out. Betza has thrown, I believe, 5 innings in each of the first 2 games for the Wolverines in this regional. And right now looks like she will be asked to do the bulk of the work here in the third.
Was strolling in with about a .140 ERA yesterday. Couldn't be too much different from where it was when she came into play in yesterday's game, but nonetheless, she has been something else in the circle for the Wolverines all season. And as we get later and later in the season, every time she comes to the circle, we run out of things to say. So if that's any indication of how well Megan Betts has performed all season.
Wagner, an uncharacteristically average outing for the Wolverines. Betts' stats on the tournament: she has thrown 10 innings, given up 2 runs, both on solo home runs. Her ERA at 140 on the tournament, much better for the year. Or it actually is better for the year.
It is.
She struck out 20 over the course of those 10 innings with a 118 batting average against 4 opponents. Going to have to record a couple of key outs here.
She was warming up to the Candy in My Heels Tonight song from Napoleon Dynamite. We'll see if she's got some candy in the glove with that fastball that she loves to blow by hitters.
Michaela Taylor will be the hitter for the Pitt Panthers. The first pitch from Betza is swung on and driven high and way foul. That one might have troubled a car there.
No car alarms, so I think we're safe.
Well, yeah, we might be safe, but what about the owner of the car?
I didn't hear any car alarms, so I think they're safe as well.
0-1 count now on Taylor. Betza looks in, winds, delivers. Off-speed pitch, big swing and a miss. Pulled a string on Taylor. The count now 0-2.
Look for Megan Betza to come back with the heater there and just blow it by Taylor as she tries to put her down.
Count 0-2 on the shortstop Taylor. Her error allowed 3 runs to cross the plate for the Wolverines in the top half of the third. Betza winds, the 0-2 pitch. Way high with the fastball above the head of Taylor. And there's high heat, and then there's that.
Made Sweet come out of her stance. That was a rise ball.
Shea down at second base for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Betza winds the 1-2 pitch to Taylor. Misses low with the off-speed offering there. The count now even at 2-2. Betza still trying to establish her command in this game.
Command was a bit off yesterday and got a little bit worse as the game wore on, but really didn't do her a whole lot of damage as she only did give up 1 run to Cal yesterday.
The 2-2 pitch from Betza. Swinging a tapper right back to the mound. Betza backhands, throws to first, and gets the out. Moving over to third on the play is Morgan Shea. A weakly hit ball right off the end of the bat. Good pitching there by Betza to get the first of 2 outs that she'll need to get in this inning. That'll bring up the center fielder, Carly Thea, the 0-for-1 in today's game. She stands in that lefty batter's box. Betza looks in, winds. The first pitch to Thea. Fastball just off the outside corner for ball 1.
Well-placed pitch there from Betza. Look for her to work on that outside part of the plate for some of this at bat, but I'd look for her to come back inside here and sort of switch it up on Thea and maybe work her in on the hands.
Betza looks in, gets her sign. The 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball just missing off the outside corner. And she is adept at spotting that backdoor breaking ball. Couldn't find it there. The count now 2-0 on Thea.
Well, did decide to go back outside again, trying to get Thea to nibble on the outside part of the plate.
Thea hitting .333 on the season. Betza winds the 2-0. Misses up and in with the fastball. Thea ducks out of the way. The count now 3-0.
Well, I thought you might want to come inside on the hands, not on the head. That one driving Thea back with a bit of a matrix move to avoid that one.
A little bit of chin music from Megan Betza. 3-0 the count. The runner on third base is Morgan Shea. The 3-0 pitch, called strike on the outside corner, came back in with the fastball. Michigan leading this one 8-2, but Pitt has chipped away at that lead, responding to the Wolverines' 3-run tally with 2 of their own. Betza gets her sign. Takes her time. Now the 3-1 pitch to Thea. Swing and a miss. A fastball up in the zone. Thea looking to drive that one onto Ray Fisher Stadium, but The ball stays in Alumni Field and lands safely in the glove of the catcher, Lauren Sweet.
It was a high arcing swing, looking to just get under it and drive a crushing home run, but nothing there.
The payoff pitch line back up the middle, a single for Carly Thea. That will score the run. Good piece of hitting. Found that pitch up in the zone and just ripped it before Sierra Romero could even react at second base. 3 runs for the Panthers. They are now only trailing by 5 in this one.
Well, the Pitt Panther contingent right behind them down that third base side, ecstatic that they're back in this game now. Back to just a 5-run deficit where they stood before the start of the third inning, as they've evened it up, and we talk about winning innings, and Pitt has at least tied it up after evening up with 3 runs here.
Caitlin Manuel at the plate now for the Panthers. The first pitch from Betts, a swing and a miss on a ball that just dropped out of the zone in on her hands. The count 0-1. Manuel singled in her last at-bat, got caught stealing.
Haley Wagner was responsible for that run, so that will go under her earned tally.
The 0-1 pitch from Betts, another off-speed pitch, another swing. This one fouled. Back to the backstop softly. The count now 0-2 on Manuel.
So now that Wagner is cleared of any responsibility on the bags, her final line, she pitched 2 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, and all of them were earned.
Manuel hitting .254 on the season for the Pitt Panthers. The 0-2 pitch from Betts, a swing and a fly ball. Should do it for the inning. Lawrence settles under it and makes the catch in straightaway center field. That'll do it for the Pitt Panthers in the bottom of the third inning, but not until after they tally 3 in response to Michigan's 3 runs. Michigan leads 8-3 heading into the top of the 4th inning. You are listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's coverage of Michigan softball. And you know, Caitlin may be manual, but Megan Betza is pretty much automatic coming out of the dugout for the Wolverines.
Not even on color commentary and just rifling them off is Morris Fabry. He's still in the groove from yesterday's color commentary.
I was hoping she would record a strikeout so I could just bust that out right there, but I might not get the opportunity again.
It's going to be the dance-off, it looks like. This is always a dangerous time. Looks like we've got 2 senior citizens down on the first base line. Ooh, busting out some good moves there. A little bit of Boogie Nights. Ooh, she remembers 1970 like it was yesterday, busting out the slide move. Right off of the disco floor as her opponent bows down to her before he goes. He's going to show us what he's got. Oh, they're going to dance together now, it looks like. Perhaps remembering the first time that they met back on the disco floor.
Both teams have paused in their action, and everybody in this ballpark tuned into the dancing competition.
Ooh. Looks like she's dishing it out to everybody all across the stadium with a little bit of money dishing hands.
I mean, I guess you could call it that. It's kind of hard to describe the dance there, but I can describe the dance that we've seen on the field. Michigan dancing with a chance at a championship. I mean, the dancing metaphor really does apply to the NCAA basketball tournament, as they call that one the big dance. But Michigan trying to make sure no Cinderella usurps them at this ball at their home field. The final line for Haley Wagner, 2 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits given up, no walks, of course. Gave up 3 earned runs over that span, striking out 1.
Gave him that one a moment ago, Morris. You're not listening to me. Communication issues, not good in this partnership.
Well, you know, my headphones, they've been a little spotty thanks to the wind behind us, so I don't think I'm at fault. The Pittsburgh defenders return to their positions. Kelsey Susala will lead off this inning for the Wolverines. She hit a 3-run long ball back in the first inning.
Quick update. It looks like the NCAA website was being a little bit buggy earlier. I did say that it had Georgia up 17-0. It looks like that was a previous game against Western Kentucky. In the follow-up game, it did look like Georgia has just finished up winning 17-0 over the Hilltoppers and advancing to the Super Regional.
The first pitch to Susala misses off the plate outside, an off-speed pitch that dove out of the zone. Susala let it go by. The count now 1-0.
So now it will for sure be the Georgia Bulldogs facing the winner of this game or the next, if necessary.
The 1-0 pitch again misses low. The fastball there. Susala lets it go by. The count 2-0. Everybody shaded straight away on the lefty right fielder for the Wolverines. Harris winds. The 2-0 pitch just misses off the outside corner, treading carefully against Michigan's number 4 hitter, I should say. And she's behind in the count 3-0. Harris back on the rubber. Looks in, winds, delivers. The 3-0 pitch called strike right down the heart of the plate, about thigh high to Susala. The count 3-1 now.
Well, she knew she wasn't swinging there, so all she had to do was put it over the plate, and Harris was able to do just that.
Easier said than done. The count 3-1. The windup in the pitch misses off the outside corner for ball 4. Susala heads down to first base with a leadoff walk, and that brings up Lauren Sweet.
Wolverines of getting leadoff base runners in just about every opportunity they've had so far today, and it's done them well as they've already tallied 8 runs here. Looking to do some more damage at the plate this half inning.
Susala not a big-time threat to steal on the base pass, but did score from first on Sweet's walk-off run rule double yesterday. Now Sweet's going to bunt down the third base line. They field throw down to second, and they got Susala there.
Well, we said Susala wasn't a threat to steal. She's doesn't have the same speed that she had prior to her leg injury that she is back from, but still potentially nursing a bit, but unable to leg that one out as it just turns into a fielder's choice bunt.
And a heads-up play there by Shelby Pickett. Picked it out of the dirt and threw right down to second base for the first out of the inning. Michigan with 1 on and 1 out. That brings up Lindsay Montemurano. The first pitch from Kayla Harris misses off the plate outside for ball 1. Montemurano 0 for 1 in today's game with a sacrifice bunt. One of the leaders on this team in free passes. She has walked frequently. The 0-1 pitch misses high and outside, perhaps because of her short stature, perhaps because she can extend at bats at the plate, perhaps because of a patient eye and a good eye. Regardless of what it is, Montemurano, a good spark plug for this team out of the 6th spot, ahead in the count 2-0.
I'd vouch a combination of all those.
The 2-0 pitch called strike at the knees on the outside corner. Good job by Kayla Harris to battle back there. The count 2-1.
Just before that pitch, what I was saying was a combination of all of those things that you mentioned, Morris. She's able to extend her at bat. She's able to benefit from her shorter stature.
The 2-1 pitch is popped up foul, and that one bounces off the railing about 10 feet to our right. And I don't know about you, but I wish that had gone about 10 feet to the left.
We've been waiting all season long for a foul ball up here, and we haven't gotten one yet. Brought my glove to the ballpark today, as always.
I can verify this. I won't, though. The count 2-2 on Montemurano. Harris delivers off-speed pitch, looped in right field, dropping, but it'll drop right into the glove of the right fielder for the Pittsburgh Panthers, Jordan Fannin. 2 outs now, and that'll bring up Aiden Falk, who is 2 for 2 on today's game. Falk has singled up the middle and doubled down the left field line in her 2 plate appearances. Looking to add to that. First pitch from Harris. Falk lets it go by for ball 1. That one just missed low. Lauren Sweet still on first base. She's on from her sacrifice bunt that turned into a fielder's choice out at second. The count 1-0 on the lefty Falk. Harris winds the 1-0 pitch. Falk swings, lines one foul down the left field line. Hit that one hard, but a little bit tardy on the swing.
Good slap hit there from Aiden Falk. Just needed to straighten it out a little bit more.
And the tuba for the Alumni Band has gotten a lot of action today.
He has gotten a lot of action all weekend. A really nice addition to Alumni Field for this regional tournament. The Alumni Band's shouts to them for providing good music.
The 1-1 pitch to Falk is fouled right toward the Alumni Band and out of play.
Aiden Falk wanted to give him a gift for providing such good tuba music.
Exactly.
Almost landed in the hole of the tuba.
It was close. That would be a sight to see. Probably would hamper his ability to pump up the crowd with his tunes. The 1-2 pitch from Harris. Swing and a miss by Aiden Falk, and a breaking ball well out of the zone off the plate outside. She's down on strikes. The Wolverines down without a run. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Michigan still leading this one 8-3. You're listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you for tuning in.
Looks as though the storm clouds passed over from the earlier sprinkle of rain, but we might get a little bit more before this game is done. We've got a gray cloud looming over Alumni Field, and the sun has disappeared momentarily, but it doesn't seem to be anything too serious enough that we would have to postpone play.
Yeah, you better be careful, Jeremy, or your leather baseball glove might get ruined in all this rain.
Well, you know, played in the rain with it before. Should be all right. Probably about 8 sizes too small, seeing as I haven't played an organized game of baseball in many, many moons.
Well, Betza will be the girl on the rubber for the Wolverines here for the rest of this game, being entrusted to do it all herself after Wagner left with an early exit.
Morris keeping an astute eye, one eye on the game, one eye on the Clippers and Rockets score during these half-inning breaks, with the Los Angeles Clippers currently losing to the Rockets 53-60 in a penultimate Game 7.
That one, a very good game. The Clippers have been involved in some, I'd say, high-octane action throughout their time in the playoffs. The second Game 7 that they're playing, but obviously that takes second place to the action occurring on the field. Michigan just 4 innings away, maybe less if they get more runs, from clinching a spot in that super regional.
And hopefully they don't need a Game 7, but it's not looking like they will at this point, still maintaining that 5-run lead. And Megan Betza on the circle for the Wolverines. Hasn't given up hardly any runs all season, but Pitt showing that they can put a little bit of charge into their bats as they notched 3 in the last half inning of work for them.
Betza inherited a runner on second base. She did come around to score. That was Morgan Che, who pinch ran for the designated player, Jenna Modich. Hitting this inning for the Pittsburgh Panthers, leading off will be Jordan Fannin. She is followed in the order by the catcher, Catherine Duran, and then Ashley Stills. No hits in that trio in today's game. Combined 0 for 2. Sills did get on base via a hit by pitch in last inning. Really the spark plug of that 3-run inning for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Rendition of She's Country ringing out, and see if Megan Betza can put a little bit of that Southern hospitality on her fastball and blow it by Fannin here.
I don't really know how Southern hospitality applies to fastballs.
Well, you know, it's a stretch, but
it's quite a stretch.
It worked. It sounded all right.
It's a stretch. Betza threw from the windup, however, and missed low for ball 1. The count 1-0 on Jordan Fannin. Betza looks and gets it signed. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball. Chopped down the first base line. Blanca fields it in fair territory. Steps on first base. 1 up, 1 down for the Pittsburgh Panthers here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Well, how's about this? Blanco showed Fannin some Southern hospitality and showed her the way back to the dugout, recording the out herself.
Why Southern, though? Just because of the country music playing?
She's Country was on.
That
was the connection.
Where's Megan Betza from?
Brutal. Brutal.
How about you tell our listeners? The first pitch to Catherine Duran, breaking ball, misses low for ball 1.
Doesn't matter where you're from, Morris. Everybody's got a little country in them.
Well put.
Not everybody only listens to rap music.
Duran hitting .218 on the year with 4 home runs and 14 RBI. Stands very tall in the batter's box. Betza winds the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball again. Again, it misses low. The count now 2-0 on Catherine Duran.
That's it in her groove now. She's been working a bit quicker since coming in relief.
Fastball on 2-0, misses off the plate inside. The count now 3-0 on the number 8 hitter in this Pitt lineup.
And if only you listeners could see what Morris is getting ready to look up for some good puns for Catherine Duran.
The 3-0 pitch. Called strike right down the middle of the plate. The count now 3-1 on Catherine Duran.
I'm getting ready for something. I really want to see a Betza strikeout because I think he's got something up his sleeve for you.
Betza winds the 3-1 pitch, called strike belt high on the inner half. Good location there by Betza. Duran perhaps thought she had ball 4 there. The count now 3-2. Betza looks in. The payoff pitch to Catherine Duran, swinging a foul ball down the third base line. Grounded that one, got on top of a high fastball and just a little bit out in front. Looked like she was keyed in on Betza's fastball there.
Morris might be looking up some funny puns for Catherine Duran, but right now,
for everyone.
Catherine Duran looks hungry like the wolf. At the plate, battling here.
The 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Betza records the strikeout, and Duran was ahead 3-0 in that at bat, but it just came undone for Catherine Duran. 2 outs now for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Let the Duran song titles rain down after that strikeout.
That'll bring up Ashley Sills.
It's been a stretch of a day so far in terms of punny color.
Well, we've worn out all our good stuff over the course of the season. Sills swings at the first pitch, pops it up, foul off the screen on the left side. The count now 0-1.
Think like this Wolverines team, we're eager to get this one done and get a good week of rest before coming back for the Super Regional if the score is to hold.
Sills hit with a pitch in her first at-bat. Betza winds the 0-1 pitch. Fastball swung on, popped foul toward the alumni band again, and a fan right in front of them reaches up with one hand and makes a catch.
He's going to show off his prize for a moment before the Michigan event staff come to collect it from him, but a handy snag there.
Nice hands out there, big fella. The count now 0-2 on Ashley Sills. It was 0-2 in her last at-bat before she got plunked. The 0-2 pitch from Betza, swinging a chopper back up the middle. Betza, a leaping grab of the bouncer, goes over to first and makes the out. A 1-2-3 inning for Megan Betza. The Wolverines taking an 8-3 lead into the top half of the 5th inning here at Alumni Field.
I think it was Wesley Snipes who said white men can't jump, but Megan Betza proving that she can certainly jump and snag that one for the 3rd out of the inning. A good athletic play from her on the circle.
Michigan leading by 5. The offense has gone quiet. Well, at least it's gone quiet for both teams in the 4th inning.
Felt a drop of rain or two there just for a moment as the wind might have blown a small one in our direction.
The wind coming at us from our backs right now, which we are down the right field line, so it's blowing still out toward left field, as we have indicated throughout most of this game. 8 runs on 8 hits for the Wolverines, 3 runs on 6 hits with an error for the Pittsburgh Panthers.
And thus far, we have 2 solidified Super Regionals. Florida and Kentucky will be in Gainesville next weekend, and Oregon and North Carolina State will be meeting in Eugene. Super Regionals are a best-of-3 series just between the 2 teams, and whoever comes out of those best-of-3s will advance to the College World Series in Oklahoma City. Michigan looking to secure their spot and host the Georgia Bulldogs. With a win in this game, they would be able to do just that.
Dark skies again overhead here at Alumni Field. The sun has been shining on the Wolverines. They've had a pretty nice day today.
And here comes the Blues Brothers. We were waiting for it. Always a favorite in Ann Arbor.
That was, I believe, Lauren Connell and Tara Blanco getting the wave going on this side of the field now, as the Wolverines in the first base dugout at Alumni Field for perhaps the first time outside of practice. Sun peeking out yet again. Not much has changed as far as the temperature across this game. It's been a nice 82 degrees, and we've been in the shade. So
in the shade, but still pretty humid and sticky out today. A lot of precipitation in the air, just kind of waiting to fall down. I think it's going to hold off for the most part until later this evening, but we've had a few drops throughout the course of the game, but nothing really altering play.
Runs have only been scored in odd-numbered innings in today's game. Michigan dropped a 5 spot in the first inning. In the 3rd inning, both teams scored 3.
Are you trying to tell me something as we're headed to the 5th, Morris?
Well, I'm telling you we're headed into an odd-numbered inning is all. It will be, if I'm not mistaken, Tara Blanco leading off the inning for the Wolverines as Aiden Falk's strikeout ended the last frame. Kayla Harris still in the circle for the Pitt Panthers. So far, she's thrown 4 innings, given up 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and recorded 3 strikeouts. Not great numbers, but definitely an improvement over the starter on the game, Savannah King. The first pitch to Blanco. Blanco takes it. It's on the outside corner for strike 1.
Good pitch there from Harris. Harris has performed fairly well, I'd say, coming in relief. She's done all right, considering the lineup that she has to face.
Harris, the 0-1 pitch, off speed, called strike on the outside corner. Good location there. The count now 0-2 on Blanco.
I'd say she's given up 4 earned runs technically, but that's a lot better than a lot of pitchers have been able to do against this Wolverines lineup so far this season.
The 0-2 pitch now to Blanco, misses off the plate outside, and to her credit, she's also done it over the course of a couple times through this Wolverines lineup. The Wolverines do tend to key in on pitchers, as most teams do after you see them a couple times. The 1-2 pitch now to Blanco, taken just off the outside corner. The catcher, Catherine Duran, held that one there for an extra beat, couldn't convince the home plate ump, Eric Manley. The count now 2-2 on Blanco. Harris gets her sign, winds the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, tapped just foul off of her foot. Settles in the dirt right next to home plate.
Made just the slightest of knocks there, enough to stop the ball dead in its tracks, and it took about a 90-degree angle from the bat of Blanco right down into foul territory and stopped dead in its spot.
Blanco caught that one with the end of the bat. A ferocious hack there. Her head kind of turned away too as she swung. The count 2-2. Harris winds the pitch. Breaking ball way off the plate outside and in the dirt. The count now full on Blanco. What was once an 0-2 count is taking a turn in favor of Tara Blanco, who's fought to keep this at-bat alive. Harris winds the 3-2 pitch. Cold ball off the plate, lowered away.
Morris was ready to ring Tara Blanco up, but Tara Blanco said not so fast, as did home plate umpire Eric Manley.
Yeah, sorry about that one. It was a fastball that was just a bit low and away. It looks like Carol Hutchins talking to home plate umpire Eric Manley. A pinch runner now for the Wolverines. Nikki Wald, number 8, taking the place of Tara Blanco. 1 on, no outs for the Wolverines. They need 3 runs at least in this inning if they're going for a run rule victory, which seems like that's about all they have done when we've been following them. Here in this odd-numbered inning, Abby Ramirez up at the plate with Wald on first and no outs. The windup, the pitch, Ramirez bunts it down the third base line, fielded by Pickett. She throws over to first and records the out. Wald down to second. A well-executed sacrifice bunt there.
Good play as Pickett picked it and threw it right down to first. And a good sacrifice bunt, though, nonetheless, advances Nikki Wald down to second. Wolverines find themselves with a runner in scoring position and just 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
That'll bring up Sierra Lawrence, 2 for 3 on today's game. A single in the first and a 3-run double her last plate appearance. Takes that pitch low for a ball.
Lawrence had that laser shot back in the 3rd inning for the Wolverines and brought 3 around on a double. Advanced to 3rd on a throw to home.
1-0 pitch, misses off the plate outside. The count 2-0 on Lawrence with Romero on deck.
And I think all weekend long we've seen Sierra Lawrence lace a lot of balls into play, and just some of them have been unlucky and found the just incorrect spot and going right into the gloves of some defenders. But she's definitely been on top of everything that she's been able to hit this weekend.
The 2-0 pitch to Lawrence. Breaking ball just misses off the outside corner. Harris not missing by much, but missing nonetheless. The count now 3-0. Wald down at second base. The infield playing back on Sierra Lawrence, who's got plenty of power. The 3-0 pitch from Harris, called strike there on the outer part of the plate, about thigh high. Good pitch to hit, but Lawrence taking all the way on 3-0.
Never going to swing on 3-0, but Harris did what she had to do and got it over the plate.
3-1 now, the count on Lawrence. Harris winds, delivers. Called strike on the outer edge again. That one about knee-high to Sierra Lawrence. Pitch not to her liking. She can make that choice on a 3-1 count, but now with the count 3-2, going to have to protect the plate a little bit more. Harris gets her sign. The 3-2 pitch to Lawrence. Swung on and grounded back up the middle, fielded by the shortstop Taylor, throwing on the run to first base, and they got Lawrence by just a hair.
About half a step there. Sierra Lawrence was legging that one out, but a strong throw gets her at first base, but Nikki Wald does advance to third on the fielder's choice.
Now, what a nice play by Michaela Taylor. That's the consequence of playing back on a speedy runner like Lawrence. Sometimes she'll beat out the infield hits. Taylor in the right place, though, made the play. 2-down runner on third now for Sierra Romero. First pitch from Harris. Just misses high for ball one.
They very well might have had a play on Nikki Wald at third base, but taking the for sure out on Lawrence at first. The safer of the two options there.
Yeah, her momentum was carrying her towards first base, too. It would have been a really tough play. The 1-0 pitch from Harris to Romero, called strike on the outside corner. The count now 1-1.
Sierra Romero still waiting on that correct pitch that would give her the all-time Michigan leading home run position, currently sitting tied at 62.
The 1-1 pitch from Harris misses off the plate outside. The count now 2-1 on Romero, who's done a little bit of everything today. Bunted to get on base. She's got a stolen base. She's got a run scored. She's got a walk. 1 for 1 on the day. Her batting average .473 with 21 homers and 77 RBI on the year. The 2-1 pitch misses off the plate away. The Pittsburgh Panthers have been dancing around home plate to Romero all day, and with a 3-1 count and first base open, might do more of the same here. Count is 3-1. Nikki Wald on third base. Harris winds the 3-1 pitch. Romero swings and pops one up down the right field line. Foul. Bounces off the roof above us and lands on the roof of the Oosterbaan Fieldhouse right behind us. The count now full. Romero looking to drive that 3-1 pitch, but couldn't quite square it up. The count now full on Sierra Romero. The pitch from Harris. Swinging a fly ball to right field. That one is back and is off the glove of the right fielder. Fannin bounces against the wall. Romero headed to third on the play. She's in with a triple. That one looked like it might have been gone off the bat, maybe knocked down a bit by the wind, and Fannin crashed head on into the wall. Almost made the catch, but it popped out of her glove. Romero on third base with a triple.
That one was right in Fannin's glove, but boy, did she fan on that one as it popped right out and allowed Romero to round all the way to third, and it looked like she wasn't stopping for anything. I think she wanted to round home because Fannin fell to her back and was unable to get back up very quickly to rifle that one back into the field, but she was held up at third by Carol Hutchins.
That ball about 1.5 feet in height away from finding its way out of the park. First pitch to Christner, off speed on the outside corner for a called strike one.
Good off-speed pitch there from Harris. Got to find herself now. Sticky again here, 2 outs, but Romero on third. And Christner chomping at the bit to get back into this home run lead chase for the team.
The 0-1 pitch, a fastball misses off the plate outside. The count now 1-1. Michigan's lead now 6. An odd-numbered inning in which they were able to push across a run.
It's not over yet as they look to push across at least Romero as well.
The 1-1 to Christner. Christner misses low and away for ball 2. Tried to backdoor her with the breaking ball. Couldn't find that spot.
Wind picking up here a bit, blowing pretty heavily from right to left and pushing slightly outwards over the left field wall.
2-1 pitch now from Harris. Swung on and lined into left field. That one's going to drop for an RBI base hit. One hop into the glove of Ashley Sills. Great piece of hitting. The outfield shaded very deep on Christner, so plenty of grass to work with. She dropped that one in for a single. Michigan now leads 10-3.
Like we said, Michigan loves to get runs with 2 outs, and Kelly Christner was able to just square up on that one and line a nice base hit into left field and bring around yet another RBI, and that'll be her 58th on the season. And she's really proven to be the second best power numbers hitter on the team behind Sierra Romero.
That will bring up Kelsey Susella, homered in her first at-bat on today's game. Christner on first base represents a potential run rule
victory run.
Yeah, not even a walk-off at this point because the Wolverines are the visitors. Harris winds the first pitch to Susella, taken off the plate outside for ball 1. Harris not getting the benefit of the close calls.
Bit disappointing, as I wanted to see a trifecta of walk-off run rule victories this weekend, but Michigan pulled the visitor card today, won't be able to do it. It was Swearingen in the first game, and then it was Lawrence Sweet yesterday.
The 1-0 pitch from Harris to Susella, taken just off the outside corner for ball 2. And really, these pitches look pretty close to the spots that the catcher, Catherine Duran, is setting up for her pitcher, but she is just not getting those edges of the plate. Trying to paint the black, but the paintbrush needs another dip. I don't know. That metaphor kind of died in my head. The 2-0 pitch to Susella, off the plate outside. No, it's a called strike, actually. And
it's going to end the inning.
And it looks like Kelly Christner took off early from first base.
Mm-hmm.
And she is called out. She was trying to steal second, but that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. An anticlimax.
Bit of confusion. Just to clarify, that was a called strike, but it would have only been the first strike of the at-bat, but because Christner left first base early, she is called out, and that records the 3rd out of the inning.
Yeah, that's the second time I've messed up a call of a ball or a strike. A little bit off today, but the Wolverines certainly aren't. They're leading this one 10-3 heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. Betsa still on the bump for the Wolverines.
Well, we've been on enough to garner as many listeners as we have garnered today, so we want to thank all of you again for tuning in. Feel free to interact with us at WCBN Sports on Twitter. You'll also find many of our broadcasters' Twitter handles on there. We already had a few people interact with us throughout today's game. We always appreciate that. And if you're listening on our YouTube channel, feel free to subscribe to both WCBN Sports 1 and 2, as we are in multiple places at once now, like a superhuman being, able to call baseball and softball from across different yards at the same time is a great new advent for our station.
It looks like fans are starting to trickle out a little bit beyond those right center field bleachers. Perhaps, finding a bathroom, getting concessions, but it does look like there's a stream of spectators heading out of the park. Maybe disgruntled Pitt fans, maybe Michigan fans who need to get home to prepare Sunday dinner and get ready for Game of Thrones tonight.
Walk the cat, feed the dog.
Yeah, people got things to do. Fortunately, we don't have anything to do, and that's why we're here calling this game. Or rather, we couldn't find anything better to do.
Softball is a way of life. Ball is life. They say ball is life. I like to say softball is life. We've been here a lot over the last couple of months, and always a joy bringing you guys wonderful softball calls from this team that just really doesn't like to lose.
Yeah, it's been 100% worth it following this team and interacting with the listeners that we have, getting to watch such special athletes here at this University of Michigan. Looks like Betsa is about to conclude those warm-up pitches. Yeah, I have to say softball might be my favorite thing that I've covered at WCBN. It's been a great time.
Agree wholeheartedly. I also really enjoy getting to broadcast with Morris pretty much every game, as we've kind of taken over as the official station guys for the softball games. And apparently some of the people that listen to us like to listen to our banter and our really crummy puns at times. And every once in a while we pull a decent one out, and I think that reels them back in like a fish that starts to get away off the hook, but we just bring you right back. So again, we always thank our listeners for tuning in and bearing with us, as we just like to have a lot of fun out here as well.
Looks like we'll be about ready to start or resume action here at Alumni Field after that prolonged TV timeout. In the batter's box, the righty batter's box for the Pittsburgh Panthers is Shelby Pickett. She's 1 for 2 on today's game. The first pitch from Betsa. Breaking ball misses off the plate outside for ball 1. Pickett 1 for 2. Scored during that 3-run third inning for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Betsa gets her sign. The 1-0 pitch to Pickett. Breaking ball line back up the middle. Romero fields it on a couple hops. Throws over to first. Nice play there by Sierra Romero to get the first out of the bottom half of the 5th. Romero had to range a couple steps to her right, but nothing that she can't handle. The ball not hit too hard off of the bat of Shelby Pickett. She is now 1 for 3 on today's game. That will bring up Maggie Sevilla. 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt earlier in this one. Betsa winds. First pitch to Sevilla. Fastball on the outside corner. Well spotted pitch there for strike 1. 0-1 count. 1 out Here in the bottom of the fifth, Michigan leading 10-3 over the Pitt Panthers. Betza winds the 0-1 pitch. Fastball called strike on the outside corner. Doesn't get much better than that. The count now 0-2 on Maggie Sevilla. Sevilla only 15 strikeouts on the year for the Panthers. But she's up against one of the best strikeout artists there is. The 0-2 pitch from Betza. This is well off the plate outside and high with that fastball. The count now 1-2.
Well, just because you mentioned the strikeout artist line, I got to say that she's nearing ever closer to 300 Ks on the season. Came into yesterday with 285. I'm not positive of how close she got. I don't have her stats directly in front of me, but she's no less than 10 away from 300.
The 1-2 pitch, swinging a pop-up foul back to the screen. Sweet makes the catch, but it was already off the screen and thus a dead ball. The count still 1-2 now on Sevilla. Sevilla 0 for 1 on today's game. The infield and outfield shaded straight away. Betza winds the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a pop-up foul down the left field line now. It'll make its way over the screen and into that gaggle of fans off the third base line. The count's still 1-2. Sevilla doing a good job of keeping this at bat alive. Jeremy, bit of a quiet spell as he is busy interacting with our fans on Twitter. The 1-2 pitch from Betza, swing and another tapper foul behind home plate. Sevilla just refused to go down against Megan Betza.
You know, as they say, this job is 90% fun and 10% networking to make sure that we get to keep having fun. And like we said, we like to bring in as many listeners as possible.
1-2 count still on Sevilla. Betza winds the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a tapper over to third. Monty Morano fields, throws in the dirt. What a scoop by Tara Blanco to record the second out of the inning.
Kevin Klein like that pick out of the dirt there from Tara Blanco, flashing some fancy leather. Might be Italian leather for all we know, as it's of the highest quality.
I don't know about that. I don't think they really make baseball gloves out of that.
Well, fine Italian leathers are the way to go if you're going to flash fancy footwork and fielding work like that.
2 outs now, and up to the plate steps Jenna Modich. The first pitch from Betza, a breaking ball, cut and a miss. Found her way under the bat of Modich, who has really been a thorn in the Wolverines' side today. 2 for 2 with 2 RBI.
Hey, for all we know, that glove on Tara Blanco may be Louis Vuitton with the quality.
I'd wager not, Jeremy.
You'd
the
wager.
0-1 pitch misses in the dirt, bounces behind Lauren Sweet and ricochets up into the screen. The count now 1-1 on Jenna Modich.
You may wager, but my bank account and me both know that I wagered on the wrong horse in the Preakness yesterday, and not every wager is a correct one.
Do you actually wager on Preakness? Do you know anything about horses?
Don't judge me.
1-1 the count on Jenna Modich. Betza looks in, gets the sign, winds the 1-1 pitch. Swinging a ground ball over to Romero at second base. Ranges to her left field, tosses over to first. 3 up and 3 down for the Pittsburgh Panthers in the bottom of the fifth. Betza getting the job done. We head to the top of the sixth inning, a 10-3 lead for your Wolverines on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball.
For your information, I know nothing about horses. I simply enjoy gambling.
That could be problematic for your future finances, but
it could be, but who knows? Maybe we have a future in broadcasting together, Morris. We've got the friendly ESPN folks next to us. They've been very kind to us all weekend. Maybe we could ask them if we could hop on board.
Yeah, we've been accommodated in every sense of the word, every step of the way, calling these softball teams. Got to also thank Leah, the SID for the softball team, for supporting us on Twitter, even tweeting out a couple of our puns.
Oh no, we need to stop the shout outs for a minute, because I think the dedicated listeners know what's coming now. It's Neil Diamond and it's Sweet Caroline.
You can hear it over the ambience right now. Might want to tune in, turn it on at home, and mute us for a little bit, because I think Jeremy's going to start singing.
Well, you know, they're going to test to see if the fan down there knows the missing lyrics, but Morris and I both know that I know the missing lyrics. Hands. Come on, you got to sing it with me, Mo. It's an intro song. Touching hands. Reaching out. Touching me. Touching you. Sweet. They paused it right at Sweet Caroline. Oh, I'm going to have to talk with whoever's down the hall over in the media booth.
Yeah, made us
Sweet Caroline. ba, ba, ba. Oh, the fans love it. I'm sure our listeners love it as well.
Making us look like even bigger idiots than we already sound like, pausing
Hey,
midway through the build-up to that so iconic hook.
If there's anything I found from that interacting with fans on Twitter, it's that Sweet Caroline has become a staple of your and my broadcasts.
Ugh.
And they're going to play, it looks like, the entirety of the song, which I'm a big fan of. I love it.
I don't even know the lyrics outside of the build-up to the
Oh, don't worry.
chorus.
We'll sit down after this game. I'll teach them all to you.
Kayla Harris still
Oh, I was just told by Andrew Hausman he tuned out for Sweet Caroline. Well, you're one of the only ones, Andrew.
Well, we don't have that many listeners to begin with in the grand scheme of things. We thank those of you who have stuck around. Kayla Harris still on the bump. She's given up, I believe, 6 earned runs to these Michigan Wolverines over 5 innings pitched, looking to continue her work. Kelsey Susala had her at bat interrupted last inning. She will lead off the inning now for the Wolverines. Takes one for a strike on the outside corner about belt high.
Interesting note, Kelsey Susala got a new walk-up song coming up to My Sharona now. Fresh count for her, though. That must be nice.
The 0-1 pitch, off speed, misses low. The count even at 1-1. Susala 1 for 2 on today's game. Had a 2-1 count, 2-0 actually, before Kelly Christner took it away from her. Harris winds the delivery. Susala line drive right into the waiting glove of the shortstop of Michaela Taylor. Hard hit ball in the wrong place is the first out of the inning for the Wolverines.
Laced that one, did Susala, but right into the waiting glove at short. It's been kind of something that's plagued the Wolverines all weekend. Every once in a while, they seem to lace one pretty well, but it just finds the spot where it shouldn't be at and becomes an easy out.
Lauren Sweet up to the plate now, takes the first pitch off speed in there on the outside corner for strike 1. 0-1 count on Sweet, who has yet to record an official at-bat on today's, well, the scoreboard showing that she's 0 for 0, but she is 1 for 3 today. The 0-1 pitch swung on, golfed into the left field corner, but that will be caught by Ashley Sills, jogging over toward the foul line. 2 up, 2 down for the Wolverines here in the top half of the 6th, and that will bring up Lindsay Montemarano.
Well, the Wolverines have done some good work with 2 outs in their hitting appearances so far today. We'll see if they can continue the trend.
The wind up the pitch to Montemarano. She fouls it off of her foot. It trickles into fair play, but Montemarano in a bit of agony right now, and home plate ump Eric Manley calls it a foul ball. Correctly so. Monty gets back up to her feet. The crowd giving her a round of applause. Not a packed house, but very close to it. Definitely a sellout again here at Alumni Field. It's been absolutely filled to the brim over the course of this weekend, but only for Michigan games. According to Jeremy, watching yesterday's Cal Pitt game, it was almost a ghost town here down at Alumni for that showdown.
I was watching that one because softball is life, and they were talking as the ESPN commentators were also in awe of the fact they called it street softball. It seemed as there were maybe 6 souls in this whole stadium that weren't playing softball, and Pitt was able to get through that one.
The 0-1 pitch misses off the plate outside. Harris put a little bit of extra juice on that one, came in with a hard fastball. Couldn't find the zone, though. The count now even at 1-1 on Montemarano.
Again, we can't really stress enough that nobody really thought Pitt would make it to this final. It was really expected to be the Cal Golden Bears.
The 1-1 pitch, Montemarano lofts a soft liner again into the waiting glove of Michaela Taylor. Took a couple steps to her left to make that play. That'll do it for the Wolverines. They go 1-2-3 in the top half of the 6th. We head to the bottom of the 6th. A 10-3 lead for the Wolverines. An inning and a half away from making it to that Super Regional against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, a rarity right there. This one proving that we're going to go a full 7, which isn't something that the Wolverines are too used to, as they've been run ruling everybody left and right over the last month or so.
That one's got to be a testament to the Pitt Panthers, who have fought to stay in this game. A gutsy performance by Kayla Harris, who no doubt a bit weary after throwing so many pitches in last night's affair. Unfortunately for the Pitt Panthers, sometimes it just isn't your day. And for starter Savannah King, she's had a good year for the Panthers. Put up some pretty nice stats, but this weekend, just not her best. As a result, the Wolverines were able to jump out early in this one. They have not looked back. YMCA over the loudspeakers now. Fans not really singing along, but definitely doing the dance.
I'll spare the listeners after Sweet Caroline. I got my sweet kicks in with Sweet Caroline, and that'll do it for the day for me.
Well, I'd hope so.
I don't know. We've hung in with pretty much the same listener count since we started, so I guess we're doing something okay out there today. Either that or people are just so interested in this softball team that they'll take any coverage they can get if they don't have ESPNU.
I really think it's more of that. They're willing to put up with us in exchange for the softball action that we bring. We appreciate those of you who have interacted with us throughout the game. Megan Betza took a little while coming out of the dugout, getting back on the bump, so whether it's caused by a TV timeout, maybe she had to take a trip to the bathroom. You never know. These things happen over the course of the game. Regardless, she's just now beginning to throw her warm-up pitches. Might have a bit of an abbreviated time throwing those warm-up pitches, as players normally allotted only a limited amount of time due to time constraints of these softball games.
Again, things moving a little bit slower over the course of the weekend, and expectedly so, as this is being covered nationally, so we're taking a break for a lot of the national TV commercial coverage, because you know how much everybody loves to see commercials for half the time that they sit down and watch a sporting event. But with us, you don't get commercials. You get singing, song analysis, a couple bad puns here and there, a little bit of witty banter every once in a while if we're on our game. And, you know, we do all right out here, Mo.
Yeah, we're having fun. Everybody's having fun except for the teams that the Wolverines have to beat down. And, yeah, unlike even our WCBN cohorts down at baseball, we stay with you over the course of commercial breaks. I like to think it's part of what makes these broadcasts a little more fun, a little more special. And
we have time to pal around when there's action missing from the field.
Michaela Taylor at the plate now. The first pitch from Betts, a swing and a miss. Blew her right by her. Taylor 1 for 2 on today's game. 0-1 count now on Taylor. Infield and outfield shaded at normal depth. Betsa winds the 0-1 pitch, swinging a pop-up foul on the right side, out of play over the screen, and that one will probably land in the concession area. 0-2 quickly on Michaela Taylor, who's hitting .318 on the season with 14 home runs for the Pitt Panthers, leading the team in the power department. Betsa looks in, takes a long look in, gets her sign, winds the 0-2 pitch. Misses low and away there with a breaking ball. The count now 1-2. Betsa not only is different in Haley Wagner in many aspects of how she pitches, but she also takes more time between pitches on the mound. Definitely lets the batters kind of stew in their own minds. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, lined into left field right at Kelly Christner. She's there to make the catch. 1 up, 1 down for the Panthers.
Taylor had another good cut. She had that double earlier in the game off of the glove of Montemurano that went out of play but was a foul ball because Montemurano touched it. Got a good rip on that one again in play, but handled well out in left field.
That'll bring up Carly Thea, the center fielder, RBI single in her last plate appearance. Or maybe that was 2 plate appearances ago. Regardless, she's 1 for 2 on today's game. The first pitch from Betsa, called strike on the outside corner. Home plate ump Eric Manley emphatic with that one. That's a really pop in the glove of Lauren Sweet so far. Betsa looks in, the 0-1 pitch to Thea. Swing and a line drive just past Tara Blanco into right field for a base hit. Looked like she only had a split second to react and could not get her glove on that one. A 1-out base hit for Carly Thea. 2 balls hit hard by Betsa to start the bottom half of the 6th inning. Maybe cause for a mound visit if it continues. Up to the plate now is the first baseman, Caitlin Manuel.
I think, again, Betts is still feeling pretty comfortable with a 7-run lead behind her, courtesy of the hot bats of her team.
Betsa winds the first pitch to Manuel, misses well high with a fastball there over the head of Caitlin Manuel. Sweet out of her crouch for that one. The corner is playing far in on the speedy Manuel.
I know Betsa doesn't like to throw off speed a lot, but I think maybe an off-speed pitch here that she could try and get a ground ball out of might help.
The 1-0 pitch, a called strike on a fastball on the outside corner. The count even at 1-1.
She really doesn't like the off-speed stuff, and she doesn't really have to like it just because of how good her fastball is.
Always willing to deploy that breaking ball, though. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball up and out of the zone. The count now 1-2 on Manuel.
Manuel took an uncomfortable cut at that one as it rose up above her head, and I think halfway through the swing she realized that she wasn't going to be able to get anywhere close to that without tomahawking it.
Manuel going to have to shift gears if she's going to hit Betza here. The 1-2 pitch just misses off the outside corner with a fastball there.
I joined in the collective groan there. That one was pretty close on the edge.
Down at first base, Carly Thea, not a big-time threat to steal. She has been successful in 3 out of 6 attempts stealing bases. Betza winds the 2-2 pitch. Foul ball, a foul tip into an unpadded area of Lauren Sweet. It was a check swing by Manuel. Somehow got a piece of that off-speed pitch with the bat. And Sweet walking that one off in a little bit of pain right now.
Gonna walk it off, rub a little dirt on it. She's tough back there. She's a catcher. It's in the blood. Gonna have to work that one off.
Yeah, Jeremy Parks, I know you have a little bit of experience behind the plate.
I wore knee savers.
Yeah, Jeremy Parks not quite as tough as the softball players down there, but perhaps that's why he's no longer catching.
Perhaps that's why I no longer play organized sports, period.
The count 2-2 on Manuel. Betza winds the delivery. Off-speed pitch just misses high. The count now full on Manuel.
Traded in the baseball equipment for the broadcasting equipment, as did Morris. Except Morris likes to play ultimate frisbee in his free time. He also likes long walks on the beach and mimosas in the evenings.
The dating profile will have to wait. The 3-2 pitch, swinging a foul ball back to the screen. A fastball at the knees on the outside corner. Good location there for Betza, but Manuel spoiled that pitch.
Again, you would be the weird type that likes to have a mimosa in the evening, Morris.
I don't know how to make a mimosa, man. The count 3-2, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Betza winds the full count pitch, check swing, foul ball up off of the screen behind home plate. Manuel keeping this at bat alive, really making Megan Betza work out there on the rubber. Infield and outfield now shaded at normal depth, not too wary of the bunt. Betza winds the 3-2 pitch, swing and a pop-up foul down the third baseline. Montgomery now tracking back, slides, but that ball just out of her reach, bounces into the dirt. Kristen and Ramirez also converging on that foul pop-up. The at-bat still alive for Caitlin Manuel. This one just dragging on.
Monty was trying to run back there and look behind her shoulder at the same time. She kind of took a little bit of a zigzag route as she got a little confused looking for that one, but made a slide and unable to get close enough to nab it.
Count still full on Caitlin Manuel. Betza winds the 3-2 pitch, swing, and a foul ball back to the screen.
She's been watching Lauren Sweet as she's been fouling off everything with 2 strikes on her so far. Really taking a note from the prof herself. And a page out of the Wolverines book here as the battle between Betza and Manuel continues.
Betza winds the full count pitch, swing and a tapper right back up the middle. Romero tosses to second one, the relay to first, not in time. The throw pulled Tara Blanco off of the bag. Very close to a double play there, even though the ball was hit softly. A lightning quick turn up the middle. Almost got 2 for the price of 1.
Well, double plays are fairly uncommon in softball just because of the short distance of the base paths and the lack of speed for the most part. Looks like we have a pause in play for some conversation down with first base umpire Matt Johnson.
Yeah, I have no idea what exactly words are being exchanged right now. It looks like
now they've also brought in third base umpire Laura Head into the mix.
Looks like an assistant coach for the Wolverines.
Well, Carol Hutchins came out along with some of the other coaching staff, and we're not quite sure what they're talking about here. But that's going to give time for Lauren Sweet to come up and have a conversation with Megan Betza about how they want to go and attack Jordan Fannin.
Looks like the assistant coach for the Wolverines really emphatic in her gesturing toward
Not
Laura
quite
Head,
sure what that was all
now
about.
headed back to the dugout.
Might remain a mystery.
That was assistant coach Bonnie Thole out there talking to Laura Head. No idea what it was about.
Looks like everything's going to return to normal. Maybe
like
it didn't. I'd assume it'd be Carol Hutchins if they were going to dispute the fact that the runner was safe at first, but it will remain a mystery.
Jordan Fannin at the plate now for Pitt. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. Betza pouring in the fastball. Caitlin Manuel on first base, a threat to steal.
Really a who's buried in Grant's tomb question, because we aren't sure what that was about, but Megan Betza got right back to work there.
0-1 pitch from Betza. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and out of the zone. Betza hasn't recorded a ton of outs via the K in this game, but looking to fan Fannin right here with an 0-2 count. Betza looks in, gets her sign. Winds. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a tapper down the left field line. That one bounces foul.
Tried to make a slap hit, did Fannin there, and just not able to quite get around on it in time and slaps it to opposite field, foul.
Yeah, that one a pitch up out of the zone. Fannin doing a good job just to fend it off. 0-2 still the count on Jordan Fannin. Betza calls time, steps off the mound, and looks to have a word or two with her catcher, Lauren Sweet.
I think Betza's going to tell her where she wants to put it here and have Sweet ready to pick it out for the location. Sweet does seem to be okay after taking that foul ball to the unpadded area. Hasn't really winced or fidgeted or anything since then.
Betza looks in. The 0-2 pitch to Fannin. High fastball taken for a ball one. Tried to climb the ladder there.
Could potentially have also discussed maybe a 2 or 3 pitch scenario, maybe try and bite on a climb the ladder and see what they want to do if that didn't work.
Oh, definitely.
Which would be this pitch here.
Betza winds. The 1-2 pitch to Fannin. Another high fastball, another one that misses the zone by a good margin. The count now 2-2. Two's across the board with 2 outs now. Kelly Christner, the left field, shaded very close to that left field line and very in from her normal position toward home plate. 2-2 the count. Clouds crossing the sun here over Alumni Field. Betza widens and delivers. Just misses with a fastball off the outside corner there. The count now 3-2 in the crowd. Letting home plate up Eric Manley hear it a little bit.
We like to say that Lauren Sweet holds pitches for an extra beat. I think she held that one for about 3 extra beats. Got to tread carefully there, though. Try not to displease home plate umpire Eric Manley, but that one was about as close as you can possibly get without it being called a strike.
He's been calling it tight both ways. Betza looking to regroup. The 3-2 pitch to Fannin, swung on, popped up on the left side. Ramirez striking out. Christopher tracking in from her spot in shallow left. She makes the catch down the third base line. Pitt gets a runner on, but no more in the bottom of the 6th inning. We head to the top of the 7th and hopefully final inning with the Wolverines leading 10-3. You are listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's coverage of Michigan softball. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, we talked about how interesting it was that Christner was playing so closely in and left field, and it really came to her benefit as Ramirez was trying to track back. But I think if Christner hadn't been as shallow as she was, it would have been a really difficult play for Abby Ramirez to make and might have possibly fallen over her head for a base hit. But luckily, Christner was there in short left to range over and bail out Ramirez. But the Wolverines keep their 7-run lead as they look to advance to the Super Regional that they would host against the Georgia Bulldogs here in Ann Arbor next weekend.
Betza has come in and taken charge for the Wolverines, and
she hasn't even looked her best, which has been interesting. She hasn't looked her besta. Besta.
I was about to go there if you did.
She's been pitching at just a pretty average level, perhaps even underneath her standard, but it's been enough for the Wolverines as they haven't given up a run to the Panthers since a 3-run outburst for them in the 3rd inning.
Betza only struck out 1 over 3 1/3 innings of work. Not being overly ambitious in her pursuit of single-season strikeout excellence with 300, but she should have plenty of time to get there over that Super Regional and beyond if Michigan wins those games.
Georgia would be coming in to that regional, I believe, ranked 14th. Let me double check. It's either 13 or 14. Yes, they are the 14 seed. So Michigan, the 3, would be going up against a 14. They took out the number 19 Cal Golden Bears yesterday, and what was probably the most difficult foreseeable opponent for them in this regional. But Pitt playing well enough to have tallied 3 runs on the Wolverines, more than any other team in the regional was able to do, as Michigan only gave up 1 run to both Oakland and Cal.
Michigan scoring a few more runs than their opponents in this tournament.
Just a few. Like 2 9-1 victories and 10-3 currently.
They know how to put on, they really know how to pour on the runs once they start coming. It's hard to stop this Wolverines avalanche of an offense.
It's hard to tell who's better at what. Morris and I coming up with bad puns, or the Wolverines coming up with big hits and a lot of runs.
It's almost definitely the Wolverines. Aiden Falk will lead off this inning for Michigan. She's 2 for 3 on today's game. A single, a double, and a strikeout in 3 at-bats. Kayla Harris still on the bump for the Pitt Panthers. She's going to have herself basically a complete game if she gets through this inning. The first pitch to Falk swung on and fouled back to the screen on the left side. Falk tardy on the 0-0 fastball. The count now 0-1.
Yeah, starting pitcher Savannah King gave up 4 runs, but she didn't record an out, which means that it's really been Harris who's recorded every single out for the Panthers so far today.
It'll be all 21 unless she gets replaced. The 0-1 pitch now. Falk swings and misses. Big hack there. And another pitch with a lot of juice on it. The count now 0-2 on Aiden Falk.
To this point, Harris has gone 6 strong, only given up 8 hits. Only, I say with emphasis, and 6 runs.
0-2 pitch to Falk. Just misses off the outer edge for the breaking ball there. And you don't hear the same groans from the crowd, but Harris has had a lot of close pitches go against her over the course of this game. Obviously, home team bias plays a role in that. Harris winds the 1-2 pitch to Falk. Just off the edge.
Pretty
on the
close.
Outside part of the plate with the fastball. The count now 2-2 on number 2, Aiden Falk, the freshman.
We mentioned it in the last half inning. Eric Manley has been very tight on that outside part of the plate today. And he has been calling it both ways.
The 2-2 pitch to Falk. Swung on, grounded back up the middle. A base hit for Falk.
Another hit for Falk.
Have yourself a day. She is 3 for 4.
Doing herself proud, 3 for 4 today. Had the big 2-run home run yesterday. Having herself a weekend is more like it. A big part of the reason the Wolverines have been as dominant on offense as they have been this weekend.
That will bring up Tara Blanco. Blanco 0 for 1 on today's game.
I know somewhere out there Kevin Klein is listening and calling for Tara Blanco to hit a home run to left field.
I'm sure she would settle for center or right alike. Blanco.
Perhaps even looking for her to make a Bambino-ish call of the shot to left field in the mind of Kevin Klein.
Blanco 0 for 1 on today's game with a couple walks, a patient eye up at the plate. The first pitch from Harris. Swung on line down the third base line. Fair ball. That one's going to drop for a base hit. The left fielder, Sills, was shading toward the left field line, so she will be held for a single. The pinch runner, Olivia Rich-Valsky, stops at second base. She's on for Aiden Falk. 2 on and no outs for the Wolverines in the top of the 7th, as if they needed any more runs. It's an odd-numbered inning, though, so time to score for the Wolverines.
They have scored in every odd-numbered inning. Very odd, but it wasn't a home run to left field, but she still called a shot to left and got a nice base hit single, and she got on first base, and she started tossing the dough and then threw it back over to the Wolverines dugout on the first base side, presumably so they could add some sauce and cheese and whatever assorted toppings they prefer before they bring some pizza around this inning.
Abby Ramirez at the plate. Swings and fouls the first pitch back to the screen. I'm a little surprised she didn't square for a sacrifice bunt in this situation. She's behind on the count 0-1. The infield ever wary of that threat, playing in on the slap hitting Abby Ramirez.
I guess head coach Carol Hutchins not too concerned with playing small ball here with a 7-run lead.
The 0-1 pitch. Ramirez pokes one into left field. Coming on to make a running catch is Ashley Sills near the left field line. Ramirez doesn't really have a lot of room to work with in front of the outfielders because they shade her so far in and toward that left field line, slap hitter as she is.
Catch was made in foul territory as well, but good speed and range from Sills to come over and make the grab.
That'll bring the top of the lineup back to the plate. Sierra Lawrence 2 for 4 in today's game, a 3-run double, the highlight of the day for her. She sees the first pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. Good fastball there by Harris.
It seems as though Harris has shown signs of throwing good pitches all day today. She just hasn't been able to string a good series of them together, and it's plagued her all afternoon.
The 0-1 to Lawrence, misses low with the breaking ball. The count now 1-1. And you know, that's just what this team will do to you. Even if you have your best stuff, the hitters are of such high quality that they still are able to turn it back on you. The 1-1 pitch to Lawrence just misses off the outer edge for ball 2.
Just a little bit further on that, these Wolverines have been beating up on any and every pitcher that has challenged them so far this season, mowing down everyone in their pads as they've only lost 6 games on the season.
The 2-1 pitch to Lawrence, called strike on the outer edge. Harris put right back in there with a fastball.
This is the 60th game of the season for the Wolverines. They come in at 53-6, looking to go to 54-6 as they have the highest winning percentage in the country.
2-2 to Lawrence is grounded softly over to short. Taylor Fields flips to third and retires Rich Volsky for the force out. Heads up play there. She had no chance at getting any of the other 2 runners, and good play by Pickett to get there and cover.
And third base umpire Laura Head was right on top of it. It was a close slide, and it looks like Carol Hutchins will maybe just ask her really quick if she was sure about it.
I don't think they're turning that one around. That was a good call, in my opinion. The throw got there before the slide. That'll bring up Sierra Romero, 2 for 2 on today's game. The first pitch from Harris, breaking ball, fouled right toward us down the right field line. It bounces in the stands about 15 feet to our right and in front of us. An 0-1 count. Romero trying to give us that souvenir.
Sierra's she's zoning in on us, Mo. She's ready to give us a souvenir.
The count 0-1. Romero known for her opposite field power.
Looking for a Rom bomb here.
The 0-1 pitch. Fastball just misses off the plate outside. The count now 1-1.
I'm going to mention it every time she comes up to bat until it happens. She's still tied for first all time in the Michigan home run leaders list at 62 and is looking to become the sole possessor of that record.
Harris winds the 1-1 pitch. Romero swings and golfs one into right field, but it will settle into the glove of Jordan Fannin for the 3rd out of the inning. The Wolverines get 2 on with no outs, but don't bring a run home in this odd-numbered inning. They will head to the bottom of the 7th with an odd-numbered lead, leading the Pittsburgh Panthers 10-3 here at Alumni Field.
It's going to take a small miracle here for the Pitt Panthers to come back and have a chance at this one. They're down 7 runs and down to their last 3 outs here as they performed pretty valiantly in their first ever NCAA tournament appearance, making it all the way to this regional final after taking out the number 19 Cal Bears in the empty and dark confines of Alumni Field last night on the back of that grand slam from Modich. But it looks like if things hold, their trip will end in Ann Arbor and they will head back to Pittsburgh, knowing that they did well in their first try, but perhaps a lack of experience, perhaps the fact that Michigan is just too good and outguns them at every position that they're going to have to head back home without being able to head to a super regional.
Michigan 3 outs away from heading to that super regional. The crowd thinning out more and more as this game goes on out in the right field grandstands, but
still 3/4 full,
right
I'd
field bleachers, I should say, but in the area surrounding the baselines up to first base and all the way down the third base line as the fans are out there standing and watching. The stands are still very thick, filled with maize and blue in support of their team as they look to head onto the super regional back here at Alumni Field.
Again, if that does happen, at least I, if not Morris, and perhaps some others will be here to broadcast that super regional action for you next weekend. And fingers crossed if the Wolverines make it through the super regional, we would love to bring you coverage from Oklahoma City, although that might be a taller order as that's going to be, all those games are going to be on ESPN. So we thank you all for being dedicated listeners and tuning into us, whether it's because you like us or whether it's because you just needed an outlet to listen to the Wolverines. We love bringing the action to you, and hopefully you love listening to us bring it.
Betsa has concluded her warm-up pitches, about ready to face the bottom part of this Pittsburgh lineup. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters hitting, and Catherine Duran, Ashley Sills, and then Shelby Pickett. The outfielders converging just on the edge of the infield behind second base.
Betsa perhaps getting in the zone here, a bit of a Beyonce medley before we get into it. Had some single ladies put a ring on it, and now Crazy Love.
Crazy in Love.
Crazy in Love, my bad. Not Van Morrison, Beyonce.
See, I don't even get that reference, man.
Van Morrison sings a song called Crazy Love. It's a staple of every awkward high school and middle school dance.
Of course. I know what you're talking about now. A pinch hitter for the Pitt Panthers takes a ball low for ball one. Georgiana Zaramenko is hitting in place of the catcher, Catherine Duran. Betsa behind in the count 1-0. Looks and winds and delivers the 1-0 pitch. Misses again low, this time with the fastball. The count 2-0 on Zaramenko. Zaramenko hitting .221 on the year with 3 home runs and 11 RBI. A tall, sturdy frame. She stands pretty far up in the batter's box. Wide set feet, holds the bat high above her right shoulder. The 2-0 pitch from Betsa. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball that tailed low there.
Big cut there from Zaramenko, and she says Zaramenko, as that floor fell out underneath that one and underneath her bat as she was trying to drive that one a ways.
Betsa looks in. The 2-1 pitch to Zaramenko. Another big swing and a breaking ball. Only hits the end of her bat. She fouls that one back to the backstop. The count now even at 2-2. Betsa only with 1 strikeout on today's game. Hasn't had her absolute A game the last couple of games, but definitely got the job done today in relief so far. Betsa winds. The 2-2 pitch to Zaramenko. Swinging a foul back to the screen. That one a high heater that Zaramenko just able to get a piece of. Count 2-2. The wind fluttering in behind us. Again, clouds covering up the sun, but still far too bright to need the lights here at Alumni Field. Waste of electricity, if you ask me. Betsa winds. The 2-2 pitch to Zaramenko. Breaking ball chopped over to third. Montemurno Fields throws across the diamond to Blanco. 1 up and 1 down for the Panthers in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 outs away from clinching the Super Regional.
Zaramenko was looking to hit something hard there and didn't quite get all of that one, as she says, Zaramenko, I'm headed back to the dugout on an easy ground out.
That was a good one, Jeremy, and it came on short notice as we were not aware that she had come into the game. Ashley Sills up to bat now for the Panthers.
Nope, it's going to be Aaron Hirschman pinch hitting for the Panthers.
Good call. The first pitch from Megan Betsa. Breaking ball just misses off the plate outside. The wind really whipping into us now.
Morris, I'm not sure if you really watch a whole lot of Seinfeld, but I just kind of gave you the no seals for you.
Oh, that was pretty bad. The 1-0 pitch now to Hirschman. Fastball misses.
We're getting
up and away.
Getting late into the game. Forgive me. I'm going to pull out everything at all stops as we're down to the last 2 outs of this regional final.
Plenty of excuses out of the mouth of color commentator Jeremy Parks. Betsa winds. The 2-0 pitch to Hirschman. Big swing and a miss on a fastball right through the zone and seemingly right through her bat. The count now 2-1. Hirschman hitting .245 on the year. 4 home runs, 8 RBI. Only 53 at-bats to show for this season. Betsa winds. The 2-1 pitch to Hirschman. Breaking ball grounded foul down the right field line. Hirschman stands with almost no bend in her knees. The bat rests on her left shoulder, almost parallel to the ground. She stands in that lefty batter's box.
The always intimidating 7 Nation Army baseline coming out here as Betsa looks to put down Hirschman.
Betsa looks in. The 2-2 pitch to Hirschman. Just misses the outside corner with that fastball. Crowd wanted it. They're not going to get it. The count moves full. And I don't think that a 7 Nation Army could hold these Wolverines back.
Oh, boy.
The count full on Hirschman. Betsa winds. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and out of the zone. Haven't seen a lot of strikeouts today, but Betsa provided the heat here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 away.
Big cut, and Aaron says, Hirsch, man, that was a fastball.
That was pretty harsh, man. That'll bring up the top of the order in Shelby Pickett, the third baseman.
Gonna try and get on base as Pickett. That's all she can do, and it's going to take a lot for the Pitt Panthers to do anything here.
The first pitch from Betsa misses up and in, almost hit Pickett on her front arm, her left arm, as she stands in that righty batter's box. Betsa's gotten behind in the count to each hitter she's faced in this inning.
Crowd is to their feet as they're ready to send this team on to a super regional.
Betsa winds. The 1-0 pitch to Pickett. off the plate outside. Betza perhaps a little bit too amped by the moment, missing the zone, and
or just toying with her. Who knows?
time is called. Sierra Romero out to talk to her girl on the mound, and Megan Betza just probably not exchanging too many words other than
probably pizza metaphors. Just need the dough. Need it.
I think that's
Spread the sauce gently.
that's more of an offensive thing for the Wolverines, but I guess it is a theme that encompasses their whole team.
This team is all about the pizza.
Betza winds the 2-0 pitch to Pickett. Called strike right down the middle. About die high there. The count now 2-1 on Pickett.
Well, all about the pizza. That pitch came in hot and Sweet was ready on the inside part of the plate for it.
Count 2-1 now. Betza takes a deep breath on the rubber. The 2-1 pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen. The crowd is ready. Michigan is one strike away from heading to the Super Regional. 10-3 lead, bottom of the seventh. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on for the Panthers.
The Jaws theme music plays as Megan Betza looks ready to take a bite out of Pickett here and send her home packing.
Betza winds the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. That'll do it. The Michigan Wolverines heading to the Super Regional. Betza not getting her punch outs throughout the game, but takes command in the last 2 batters. 2 strikeouts to close this one out. The Michigan Wolverines heading to the Super Regional. Jeremy, your final thoughts?
I think it was mostly on the offense today. Haley Wagner didn't look that great out on the mound. She got in trouble a lot. Betza came in, didn't have her best stuff, but it was good enough to get them through this one, and they're headed to the Super Regional on the backs of those torrid bats that just continue to give them all the support they need. And the Wolverines are headed home happy, and the Pitt Panthers are headed home unhappy.
After your final thoughts, JP, can I get a player of the game for you?
I'd have to say my player of the game, Aiden Falk, went 3 for 4. Really was an offensive spark for the Wolverines today. Although, again, we say this every game. You could pick 5 or 6 of the Wolverines that really performed well enough to earn those honors, and it's really a different one of them every single game for them. Their offense and defense is that deep, but nonetheless, they get it done today here at Alumni Field in just the one game.
Megan Betza, an ace in relief. Sierra Lawrence provided a big pop back in the 3rd inning with a 3-run double. And that's all we have for you today, folks. Michigan takes this one 10-3, takes home the regional crown. They're going to play Georgia next weekend. We're going to have that one covered for you. But for today, I'm going to leave you with a good evening and a go blue from Alumni Field. Thank you so much for tuning in.